Chapter 1725. As the white-haired old man looked at the wound on his chest, he revealed a stunned expression. Unexpectedly, Xiaochen managed to injure him as well. The other party was just a peak minor primal core venerate. This was especially so for Xiaochen's words, which angered the white-haired old man. What did he mean by the so-called star venerate is merely SOSO? The white-haired old man snorted coldly. How arrogant! I think you really do not know how horrifying a star venerate is when angry. Boom. Right after the white-haired old man spoke, his aura soared. Stars flickered in his eyes. The scarier thing was that a will of soul surged out of his forehead and surged towards Xiaochen. Xiaochen immediately felt his soul tremble. He could not help recalling the horrifying experience when he faced the Black Lotus Church venerate. However, he was no longer the Xiaochen of the past. He would not make the same mistake twice. Furthermore, he had never thought of defeating this white-haired old man. Although Xiaochen did not fear early-stage star venerates now, he was still far from their strength. Being able to kill Fengchen and injure him under the other party's nose was already something to be proud of. What else was there to be dissatisfied with? It is indeed horrifying. Goodbye. Xiaochen smiled faintly. To the white-haired old man, Xiaochen's respectful words were filled with mockery. Turning around before the will of soul could reach him, Xiaochen had already fled with lightning speed, fleeing into the distance. The white-haired old man felt slightly stunned. Unexpectedly, the insufferably arrogant Xiaochen left at the drop of a hat, not showing any intention of fighting him at all. How could the white-haired old man endure this? Xiaochen injured him and even killed Fengchen. If the white-haired old man left just like that, he would be frustrated to death. No matter what, the white-haired old man had to vent his anger. Xiaochen had to die. You want to leave? You have to ask me first. The white-haired old man withdrew his will of soul, and his figure flashed as he gave chase. Breaking the world. Who knew? Right after the white-haired old man withdrew his will of soul, Xiaochen, who had been shielding himself, suddenly turned around and drew his tyrant saber again. Suddenly, Xiaochen turned around and drew his tyrant saber again, executing the strongest killing move of the army breaking saber technique. When Xiaochen used the army breaking saber technique and a superior grade Dao tool at full power, he could bring out 20% of the Dao tool's might. Xiaochen swung his saber down like a peerless overlord. He turned around and swung his saber. The saber light illuminated the sky, destroying the world. The white-haired old man had just withdrawn his will of soul. He had not expected this. Xiaochen chose this time to make a sudden attack, and it was such a strong killing move. He immediately panicked. He was unable to unleash his will of soul within this short period of time. He had no choice but to turn around to defend himself and throw a punch with all his might. Poochie! Xiaochen was blasted far away by this punch, but the white-haired old man retreated even further because he was passively receiving the attack. It was just that he was superior in terms of cultivation, so he didn't suffer too much damage. After Xiaochen chopped out with his saber, he retreated again. This time he dodged even further. The white-haired old man paused for a moment. Looking at Xiaochen's back, he cautiously chased after him. He had to be on guard against Xiaochen's sudden attack. It had to be said that he felt somewhat aggrieved. One person chased and one person fled. Xiaochen focused on executing the fish dragon art, and a faint layer of purple flames covered his entire body. Xiaochen did not have an advantage over the white-haired old man in terms of speed or cultivation. However, this new fish dragon art was perfect for long-distance raids. Xiaochen did not fear a fight of attrition with the white-haired old man. A Cloud Sea Star Venerate was terrifying, but that was all there was to it. Right now, Xiaochen was completely confident that he did not fear early-stage star venerates. Whoosh! 1 hour later, a figure suddenly landed in front of the white-haired old man, blocking his path. The white-haired old man's face sank. This newcomer was also a star venerate. Furthermore, this newcomer's aura was even more terrifying than his. Who are you? Why are you blocking my path? The white-haired old man asked, not daring to be too impudent. The newcomer snorted coldly and took out a medallion. The medallion gave off a piercing, dazzling light, causing the white-haired old man to squint slightly. When he saw it clearly, his expression changed drastically. Dragon Marquis Medallion. The white-haired elder immediately lowered his head and said, I deserve to die. How have I offended the soaring dragon Marquis? Cut the crap. You don't have to chase after this person. The grudge between your profound sky sect and him ends here. Don't let me find out that you're bullying the weak. Get lost. When the white-haired old man heard this, he immediately felt aggrieved. What do you mean by the strong bullying the weak? It was clearly that kid who was bullying my profound sky sect. Not only did he injure him, he even killed Martial Nephew Feng Xiyuan. However, the other party had the Dragon Marquis medallion in his hands, which was equivalent to the soaring Dragon Marquis's words. He had to swallow this bitter pill even if he did not want to. However, in reality, even if this person didn't appear, the white-haired old man wouldn't be able to see Xiao Chen's figure after chasing for a few more hours. He had already been injured by Xiao Chen, and he was also afraid that Xiao Chen would turn around and attack him, so his speed was much slower. Catching up to Xiao Chen, who executed the new fish dragon art, would be somewhat difficult. I know. The white-haired old man didn't dare to disobey. He flashed away in a somewhat sorry state. The person who arrived glanced in the direction Xiao Chen left in, and entered deep thought. This person was somewhat surprised that a peak minor primal core cultivator could force a star venerate into such a sorry state. Whoosh, whoosh. After a while, that person's figure vanished from where he was and reappeared. He was now in Soaring Dragon City, meeting with the Cluster Lord's personal maidservant in the Cluster Lord's residence. Miss Xiaoyu, Xiao Chen is already fine. Based on the direction he left in, he should be heading to the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. The black-clad old man reported respectfully. He could not understand why Cluster Lord Goyu wanted to protect this unconventional bladesman in secret. However, when he thought about Cluster Lord Goyu's position in the Soaring Dragon Marquis's heart, the Soaring Dragon Marquis gave her the Soaring Dragon Great Realm as her conferred land right after completing experiential training. If the black-clad old man could keep his mouth shut, it would be best not to say anything. If Xiao Chen were here, he would definitely recognize this Miss Xiaoyu. She was the maidservant that he met twice in the Soaring Dragon Pavilion. Xiaoyu nodded and said, You may withdraw. I will inform the Cluster Lord of this matter. The black-clad old man silently turned around and left, not saying anything more. After Xiaoyu saw the old man leave, she turned around and walked a long distance. Then, she met with Cluster Lord Goyu in a pavilion. Xiaoyu repeated the black-clad old man's words. Dragon Flame Ancient Land? Are you sure it's the Dragon Flame Ancient Land? Countess Goyu revealed a grave expression as she asked in a deep voice. It should be close. Old Zhang said that young Master Xiao went in the direction of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. Xiaoyu was not very sure, so she could only repeat old Zhang's words. As for the specifics, it would depend on Princess Goyu's judgment. Cluster Lord Goyu slowly stood up, revealing worry in her eyes. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land is not a peaceful place. Out of 10 people who enter, at least 5 will die there. Your Highness, should we continue sending people to protect young Master Xiao in secret? Xiaoyu asked softly, her eyes filled with doubt. The Cluster Lord was really attentive to this young Master Xiao. There were so many noble clans that did not care for him. Why did the Cluster Lord care so much about a bladesman with an unknown bloodline, a weak sect, and a low cultivation? Cluster Lord Goyu shook her head and said, There's no need. Once he reaches the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, whether he lives or dies will be up to him. Perhaps that person did not wish for anyone to follow him in secret. Cluster Lord Goyu could not help thinking back to the past. The scenes of her experiences in Purple Sun City when she was still Lan Luo appeared in her mind. Back then, her final conversation with Xiao Chen had not been pleasant. However, it had taught her some principles. Since she was young, no one had ever dared to lecture her like that. Perhaps she did not even know when she started to develop this bad habit. Unexpectedly, fate was fickle. After parting in Purple Sun City, the other party actually appeared in Soaring Dragon City. Furthermore, he even came to the Soaring Dragon Pavilion. However, the parting back then was somewhat awkward. She could only get Xiaoyu to come out and entertain him. Can he understand my painstaking efforts? Perhaps after he found out, he would still fly into a rage like last time. Cluster Lord Goyu also felt nervous in her heart. She shook her head and did her best to control herself, not thinking about it anymore. On the other side, Xiao Chun, who had been traveling quickly, suddenly stopped. Xiao Chun revealed a doubtful expression. It had already been 4 hours since he had sensed the white-haired old man's aura. I shook him off. That was impossible. Based on Xiao Chun's estimates, he would need at least another 8 to 10 hours to truly shake off the white-haired old man. However, no matter what, Xiao Chun could no longer sense the white-haired old man's aura. Strange. Xiao Chun muttered to himself. Then he kept an eye out and summoned out the cycle throne. Continuing to the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. As the cycle throne traveled through the clouds, Xiao Chun sat on it with his eyes closed, recovering his spirit, qi, and mind. At the same time, Xiao Chun ran through some of the details of his earlier fight with the white-haired old man. Soon he found the crux of it. Will of Soul. A star venerate could start cultivating soul energy and condense a star-like Will of Soul. Once the Will of Soul appeared, the opponent would feel an irresistible Will of Soul that penetrated deep into the soul. Only a star venerate could block it. This was an insurmountable chasm. If I can block the Will of Soul, I will have an easier time facing a star venerate. The Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram should be able to block the Will of Soul. Xiao Chun rubbed his chin and opened his eyes, muttering to himself. The Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram was Xiao Chun's strongest defensive means. The Taiji diagram formed by 2 kinds of primal chaos grade flames would reach unprecedented heights. Xiao Chun recalled that an ordinary Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram could block the aura of a high-ranked expert in the Kunlun realm. The Will of Soul should be able to do the same. It's decided then. Whether it works or not, my first goal in the Dragon Flame Ancient Land is to condense the Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram. Xiao Chun made up his mind and set his first goal in the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. Naturally, his long-term goal was to raise his saber techniques to the level that Yi Zifeng mentioned. Spreading out the information on the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, Xiao Chun continued reading while seated on the cycle throne. After a while he put away the information, and his expression turned somewhat grave. 10 people enter, but only half come out alive. Most of them die miserably. Xiao Chun felt shocked. To think that the mortality rate was as high as half. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land was even more dangerous than the fiendish demon battlefield. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land was the place that the young experts of the nearby dozens of astral clusters looked to for the most. Let's see what exactly is so powerful about it. A spark flashed in Xiao Chun's eyes. He felt somewhat excited, not frightened by the 50% mortality rate. Chapter 1726. Half a month later, Xiao Chun met with an invisible resistance in the clouds. The gravity multiplied, and the cycle throne felt heavy pressure, making flying exceptionally difficult. I've arrived. Xiao Chun opened his eyes and looked down. Dust filled the air, obscuring everything. He could not see clearly. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land still had an ancient, savage aura. The space there was different from that of the outside world. Although Xiao Chun could not see clearly, he guessed that he had arrived. Xiao Chun leaped into the air and jumped off the throne. When he landed, the throne turned into a beam of black light that attached to his clothes. Everywhere Xiao Chun looked was desolate. The ground was dry and cracked. Not even a blade of grass could be seen. Hot, dry, and lonely. An ancient, savage aura lingered in the air, giving Xiao Chun a deep sense of familiarity. This was the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. It did not seem to feel any threat at all. Let's go to Dragon Flame City first. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land was vast, occupying nearly 1/3 of the soaring Dragon Great Realm. More than 70% of it had yet to be fully explored. Dragon Flame City was the only city in the entire Dragon Flame Ancient Land. Maintaining some caution, Xiao Chun carefully set off. After about 7 minutes, Xiao Chun took out a bottle of water and drank it. He discovered that the drain on his body here was far greater than in the outside world. One should not underestimate this. Cultivators were not immortals who did not eat or drink. It was just that the drain was smaller. If one did not come out of closed-door cultivation, they would last at most half a year. If one stayed any longer, one would need to replenish themselves with food and water. unless one was a divine vein powerhouse that surpassed the Cloud Sea realm. It looks like the environment of your dragon flame ancient land is indeed somewhat terrible. You made yourself look like an ordinary person. Holding the tyrant's saber in his hand, Xiaochen casually chose a direction and walked over. After taking only a few steps, Xiaochen saw a charred corpse in an exceptionally miserable state. With a gentle touch of the scabbard, the corpse turned to ashes. It was not as simple as being charred. The corpse's entire source of life had been drained. Flame demon. Xiaochen spat out 2 words indifferently. One of the threats to survival in the dragon flame ancient land was a ferocious beast that lived here, the flame demon. To be precise, flame demons were a type of fiendish demons. The conditions for their birth were rather harsh. They were much more terrifying than ordinary fiendish demons. They were also one of the fiendish demon eagles that were still active in the Great Thousand Realms. However, once they left the special environment, the threat of the flame devils would be greatly reduced. A true major power would not intentionally seek out the flame devil's MO fan. It was impossible to kill them all. As long as the dragon flame ancient land existed, more flame demons would be born, never ending. The corpse was still so well preserved earlier. This means that the flame demon did not go far. Xiaochen pondered for a moment before deciding to meet this flame devil. The heavenly eye on Xiaochen's forehead immediately turned into a beam of light and flew out, searching the surroundings. Not long after, he finally found some clues. At the foot of a hill far away from him, a man and a woman were fighting a flame demon. The two were both major primal core venerates. However, they found it very taxing to face a flame demon of the same cultivation realm. There were many charred corpses around them. It was a ghastly sight. Strange. That charred corpse seems to be only a minor primal core cultivator. Its remaining strength is not very strong, not even a great desolate Ian bloodline. Xiaochen did not understand why these people took the risk to enter the dragon flame ancient land. Xiaochen stopped thinking about this for now and focused his gaze on the flame demon. The flame demon looked no different from a human. One could only make out its aura and attack methods. The flame demon's evil aura could not be faked. The white flame twirling around its hand was close to blue, inspiring fear in the two cultivators. Even if the flame demons had the same cultivation, there were differences in strength. The white flame demons were low-rank flame demons. The blue flame demons were middle-rank flame demons. As for the red flame demons, they were high-rank flame demons that no one wanted to meet. The color did not represent strength but a kind of aptitude, similar to the grade of a human's bloodline. Of the same strength, one blue flame demon could easily kill 10 white flame demons. The flame that this flame demon gave off was already close to blue. This meant that its aptitude was already very high. It was close to middle-rank flame demons. Xiaochen withdrew his heavenly eye. With a few flashes, he arrived near the man and the woman. "Big brother, someone is coming." The male cultivator looked at Xiaochen and immediately frowned slightly. A minor primal core venerate. It's useless. He really came at the wrong time. He was just delivering resources, and he actually ran into a peak low-rank flame demon. Upon seeing Xiaochen appear, that flame demon abandoned the two and directly launched itself at Xiaochen. Perhaps it discovered that Xiaochen's cultivation was relatively low. That flame demon grinned and launched itself at Xiaochen. That man and woman immediately took the opportunity to flee without even turning their heads back. Human, taste the feeling of being burned. The flame demon cackled strangely. A scorching aura surged over, making it feel like its hair would burn. Whoosh! A saber light flashed. Before the flame demon could see its arm clearly, Xiaochen chopped it off. A miserable shriek rang out, and the flame demon's severed arm spat out a terrifying flame. The flame demon held its wound with its left hand and looked at Xiaochen in horror. Then it turned into a clump of flames and merged into the ground, fleeing into the distance. The vertical eye on Xiaochen's forehead opened, and the heavenly eye clearly saw a clump of black shadows fleeing to the north. Xiaochen closed his vertical eye and waited for that black shadow to flee far away before giving chase. As for that man and woman from earlier, Xiaochen could not be bothered with whether they lived or died. That was a group of fugitives. They transported resources from the outside world to Dragon Flame City. earning dozens of times the price difference. Of course, they might also run into a flame demon and die. Xiaochun gave chase unhurriedly, hiding his aura and cautiously giving chase. Flame demons were fiendish demons that lived in groups. Xiaochun wanted to see if this flame demon would return to its tribe. If it could bring him over, he would not mind barging into a flame demon tribe. Flame demon tribes were formed by gathering fire. A gathering place definitely had a strong flame, which was what Xiaochun needed. Before coming, Xiaochun had already thought of such a plan. Half a day later, the sky turned dark. Suddenly, the flame demon that Xiaochun had been following suddenly disappeared. Whoosh! 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 After a long time, Xiaochun appeared from the darkness and landed at the place where the flame demon last disappeared. Could the flame demon tribe be underground? Xiaochun did not have the ability of a flame demon to burrow into the ground. However, Xiaochun had chased them all the way here after much difficulty. It was impossible for him to give up. Propping up his chin with his right hand, Xiaochun thought for a while. Then he ferociously punched the ground. Silently, the dust that had turned into powder flew out. After a while, a hole appeared in the ground. Xiaochun's figure flashed and he entered the hole. As he descended, Xiaochun discovered that the underground was as he expected. It was not completely sealed. Instead, there were many intersecting caves, looking as complicated as a maze. Xiaochun followed the source of the heat waves and carefully walked through them. 1 hour later, Xiaochun finally felt the surging heat waves and the auras of many flame demons in this complicated cave. So it really was hidden here. A brilliant light flashed in Xiaochun's eyes. After thinking for a while, he quickly moved over. Xiaochun's body moved through the cave with incredible agility. He looked around and discovered that the one-armed flame demon that he injured was heading for one of the caves. Xiaochun's lips curled up in a smile. He stuck close to the ceiling of the cave, looking like a lizard as he quickly followed. Xiaochun saw that one-armed flame demon stop at one of the caves. After chatting with the 2 flame demons guarding it, he walked in with large strides. Right after the other party entered, Xiaochun's figure flashed, and he quickly descended. Xiaochun attacked at lightning speed. The heavenly snow divine flame instantly sealed the flame demon on the left in ice. Then he stabbed his other arm into the chest of the flame demon on the right. When he pulled it out, a white flame crystal appeared in his palm. The flame crystal was the life core of the flame demon. Once it was lost, it would die immediately. Before the 2 flame demons could say anything, Xiaochun silently killed them. Xiaochun calmly walked in, continuing to follow the one-armed flame demon quietly without the one-armed flame demon leading the way. Without the one-armed flame demon leading the way, Xiaochun would not be able to find this complicated cave. There were flame demons guarding the main camp of the flame demon tribe at regular intervals. However, Xiaochun attacked at lightning speed every time. Almost right after the one-armed flame demon left, Xiaochun would immediately kill the flame demons that the one-armed flame demon talked to. Along the way, Xiaochun already had close to 50 white flame crystals in his hand. Suddenly, the one-armed flame demon in front seemed to sense that something was wrong, so it quickly turned its head. However, it did not see anything. The instant the one-armed flame demon turned its head, Xiaochun already sensed it, and his body silently floated above the cave. After the other party left, Xiaochun landed. He followed the other party in the shadows, neither far nor slow. Behind Xiaochun were all dead flame demons, either sealed in ice or turned to ashes. Relying on his skill and boldness, as well as his cool-headedness, Xiaochun did something that seemed crazy. He entered the depths of the flame demon tribe alone. Finally, that one-armed flame demon arrived at an exceptionally vast cave. A clump of scarlet flame burned fiercely in the center, flickering with a strange light and giving off surging heat waves. A blue-haired flame demon with a gloomy gaze sat on a stone throne at the end of the cave. Several flame demons stood in other places, the weakest of them major primal core realm cultivators. These flame demons had expressions of enjoyment as they absorbed the heat from the scarlet flame. It was clear that only the strong or talented flame demons were qualified to enter this place. Xiaochun stood outside, watching from afar, his gaze landing on that scarlet flame. Xiaochun could not recognize the flame seed. However, he could sense that it was a young attributed flame no weaker than the dazzling sunlight true flame. Furthermore, it was even older, at least 1,000 years old. The fire-attributed energy it contained was rather significant. Yanfeng, how did you get injured? Tell the truth. The blue-haired flame demon on the stone throne said with an unhappy expression as he looked at the one-armed flame demon. Tribe chief, I was injured by a white-clad bladesman. He chopped off my arm with one saber strike. He was so fast that I could not see clearly. Thinking back to that scene, this one-armed flame demon could not help trembling. Fool. All the tribes have issued strict orders not to offend any humans carrying a saber. Didn't I tell you that? The blue-haired flame demon scolded loudly. This subordinate saw that his cultivation was rather low, and was somewhat careless. This subordinate deserves death. The one-armed flame demon immediately knelt on the ground in fright. Humph! You are not allowed to enter the Holy Flame Cave for 1 month. You can use the Holy Flame to treat your injuries only after 1 month. This subordinate understands. The one-armed flame demon did not dare to rebut. It looked greedily at the blazing scarlet flame before turning to leave. The blue-haired flame demon was just halfway there when he suddenly startled awake. You trash! Someone chopped off your arm with one saber strike. How did you manage to return alive? Whoosh! Right after the blue-haired flame demon spoke, the gazes of all the flame demons in the Holy Flame Cave turned cold as they uniformly looked at the one-armed flame demon. Speak! How did you return? Chapter 1727. Xiao Chen's figure flashed as he entered the Holy Flame Cave from the darkness. He immediately felt like he had fallen into a sea of fire. You are not dead yet, the man exclaimed. However, the moment he said that, he regretted it, showing an extremely embarrassed expression. Speak. How did you come back? Hand over the holy flame. Whoosh! Whoosh! Primal chaos grade flame? The holy flame that sustained the tribe for 1,000 years was snatched away. How could they be willing to do so? In the next moment, an intense heavenly flame surged out. The 4 major primal core flame demons on standby soared into the air, and threw palm strikes at the same time. The major primal core flame demons in the Holy Flame Cave immediately went out in a flash, searching the surroundings. The scarlet flame seed remained in the altar, burning fiercely and not extinguishing for 1,000 years. There was no more waiting. Xiao Chen finally saw through the situation. The people on the city walls had no intention of opening the city gates. Seeing the flame demon army approaching, the fiery clouds covering the sky and the sun, the cultivators gathered below the city walls shouted with all their might. All they breathed was hot air, extremely hot. When the cultivators running for their lives saw Xiao Chen pass them, they were startled. Although this action would result in a lot of waste, it was better than nothing. Only a blaze crystal remained, wobbling as it fell to the ground. However, the other party was not a star venerate in the end. Furthermore, he was not underground, and his tribe was in a mess, unable to take care of itself. At this moment, the entire southern side of the Dragon Flame ancient land descended into utter chaos. Countless flame demons crawled out of the ground. The first thing the other party said was that he was not dead yet. Xiao Chen had a good temper and did not bother arguing with him. If it were someone with a bad temper, they would have killed him on the spot. Indeed, the city gates were already closed. However, many young cultivators rubbed their fists and palms together on the city walls. The entire Holy Flame Cave shook, looking like it would collapse. Xiao Chen ferociously swung the scabbard in his hand, and blood spurted out of that person's chest as he crashed into the wall. Those who were stopped were the weak. How could a city gate stop a true powerhouse? The flame demons are on a rampage. To prevent the flame demons from entering the city in disguise, everyone has to pay 20 blaze crystals before they can enter. In Xiao Chen's eyes, flames surged up to the sky like a huge wave. The dense flames were like lava, incomparably terrifying. Those who were slightly slower would immediately be cruelly killed by the flame demon, turning into charcoal. Without stopping, Zhang Xian flew toward the crimson flames at lightning speed, intending to collect the fire seed. Xiao Chen couldn't be bothered to argue with him, so he turned around and left. Search. Without hesitation, Xiao Chen reached in and grabbed the fire seed tightly in his palm. The The blue-haired flame demon soared into the air and turned into a fiery cloud in hot pursuit. Damn, a purple flame devil. What kind of variant is that? After running for a full 2 hours, he had already left the blue-haired flame devil far behind. Gone. With a wave of his hand, the heavenly snow divine flame spread out. This was a rank 3 primal chaos level flame, a much higher grade than the flame that the flame demon released. Wherever it passed, it completely sealed off the space as it attacked fiercely towards Xiao Chun. That injured person was startled and afraid, not daring to say anything. Just at this moment, 2 flame demons ran over in a fluster and knelt on the ground. Humph! You lowly human, you simply don't know what the holy flame means to flame demons. By stealing the tribe's holy flame, you become enemies with all the southern flame demon tribes. Today you will definitely die. However, the closing of the city gates that the heavenly snow divine flame mentioned was problematic. Boom! The heavenly flame burned the 4 flame demons. However, the flames on their bodies blazed even more fiercely. Xiao Chun did not dare to be careless. Aside from the high temperature, the flames of these flame demons were extremely powerful. Xiao Chun smiled coldly. Then he suddenly accelerated and dodged that kick. Boom! Flames shot out. The flames that shot out from Xiao Chun's palm looked solid as they surged out. As the man and woman watched Xiao Chun leave, they paled in fright, feeling some lingering fear. The combat prowess of this middle-rank flame demon was very terrifying. In terms of true strength, Xiao Chun was much weaker than him. Xiao Chun successfully broke through the attacks of the 4 flame demons. The instant he revealed his true body, the 4 flame demons and the blue-haired flame demon were startled. This startled the blue-haired flame demon. That's impossible. After killing him, he must have hidden the flame seed in his body. Young attributed flames were great nourishment for them, providing too much nourishment. The heavenly flame anxiously consumed the scarlet flame's flame seed in Xiao Chun's palm. The 4 flame demons turned into flaming figures and flew at Xiao Chun. In this state, the combat prowess of the flame demons clearly increased significantly. Quickly open the city gates. When that man and woman saw Xiao Chun, they showed stunned expressions. When fire poison invaded the body, even a star venerate would find it hard to bear. Seeing Xiao Chun flying over while enduring this might and pressure, someone smiled coldly and kicked at Xiao Chun. The voice of the blue-haired flame demon on the throne was somewhat cold, causing the temperature in the holy flame cave to drop. Xiao Chun was very satisfied with the heavenly flame's performance in the holy flame cave. However, he could not care about wasting a flame seed in such a simple and crude manner. He wanted the people outside to be cannon fodder first. Big brother, stop talking. We are almost at Dragon Flame City. We will be safe once we enter the city. Xiao Chun said indifferently, just take care of yourself. Xiao Chun soared into the air and directly barged in. There was no need for him to fear. While the blue-haired flame demon was distracted, Xiao Chun landed not far from the scarlet flame. It was just a riot of the southern flame demons, not that scary. To some people this was a chance to show off. I arrived at Dragon Flame City. This blue-haired flame demon's aura was extremely terrifying. Although this blue-haired flame demon was only a peak major primal core cultivator, he gave Xiao Chun the aura of a star venerate. There was no chance to dodge at all. It looked like this surging flame would bury Xiao Chun in the next moment. The blue-haired flame demon smiled coldly and said, I was waiting for you. Block him for me. The city walls were 300 meters tall, and the formations were already activated. The ancient city's might and pressure were extremely strong, making it difficult to fly up. Xiao Chun smiled faintly, and golden light suddenly appeared in his empty palm. Bang! Amid a loud sound, the 4 flame demons exploded at the same time. The light in the holy flame cave suddenly dimmed. Whether you are alone or someone is receiving you, you will die an unsightly death tonight. The blue-haired flame demon roared ferociously as he stood up. Damn it! Why am I so unlucky? I ran into a flame demon in the day, and the people of the merchant group all died. Then, I ran into a riot of flame demons at night. However, Xiao Chun had already moved one step ahead of time. He held up the tyrant's saber and broke through the rock layer, charging towards the ground. Since Xiao Chun's attributes countered each other, he immediately sealed all the surging flame waves in ice. Countless flame demons tore through the ground and appeared in the dark night, illuminating the surrounding 5,000 kilometers. Clan head, it's not good. The brothers guarding along the way are all dead. The blue-haired flame demon reverted to human form and reappeared in front of Xiaochen. He showed a murderous intent on his face, wishing that he could eat Xiaochen alive. If Xiaochen continued waiting and those flame demons returned without accomplishing anything, it would be even more difficult to deal with. Middle-rank flame demons were indeed terrifying. Xiaochen did not protect his body with veritable essence energy, continuously draining it. A thick layer of purple flames burned all over his body. The blue-haired flame demon raged. His entire body burned, turning into a blue flaming man as he launched himself at Xiaochen. Xiaochen shook his head and said, "Even star venerates cannot stop me. What right do you have to stop me?" Xiaochen's figure flickered continuously, and the flames sealing the flames cracked and shattered like ice cubes. What fast speed! Everyone run! However, the result was already pretty good. The might of the heavenly flame had increased significantly, and Xiaochen was one step closer to breaking through to rank 3. The flame demon's palm turned bright red. The scorching temperature nearly melted Xiaochen's palm on the spot. Now that the situation was urgent, he could only refine it on the spot. He could not use the dragon pattern cauldron to slowly refine it. After making a judgment of the flame demon's strength, Xiaochen's figure flashed as he quickly retreated, not clashing with it. The city gates were already closed, barring entry. The blue-haired flame demon's expression turned extremely unsightly. He had not expected Xiaochen to instantly break through the flames of 4 flame demons and snatch away the holy flame's flame seed. Xiaochen used the new fish dragon art to continuously pull away from the blue-haired flame demon. 5 stars lit up on his 9-star primal core. Otherwise, someone would have barged in long ago. Why? We are clearly all humans. Why are you not letting us into the city? Aside from that, Xiaochen's palm was empty. There was nothing else. Not bad. However, you are still some distance away from breaking through to rank 3. The holy flame is not with me. Do you think you can leave after stealing the holy flame? That's easy for you to think. The flame demons are on a rampage, and the city gates are already closed. How can it be easy to enter? Right after the blue-haired flame demon spoke, flames soared into the sky from the ground in the darkness. Beams of fiery light soared into the clouds in the darkness. The moment the blue-haired flame demon said that, the one-armed flame demon immediately fell to the ground in fright. That's impossible. I was very careful on my way back. No human cultivator could follow me. Several cultivators on the city walls took the opportunity to extort money from the flame demon. Xiaochen found the voices somewhat familiar. He glanced over and saw that they were the man and woman he saved during the day. Xiaochen stood at the city wall and swept his cold gaze across. Immediately, no one dared to move. After about 7 minutes, Xiaochen broke out of the ground. The cultivators risking their lives in the dark all paled in fright, as they fled in the direction of Dragon Flame City. If they could not endure it, there could only be one result. After a while, Dragon Flame City came into view. Xiaochen slowed down, and the purple flames on his body vanished. Now he looked like an ordinary person. Xiaochen's expression immediately changed slightly. He had not expected the matter to blow up so much. Xiaochen maintained a calm expression as he sped forward, not turning his head back to look. Many flame demon tribes appeared, quickly approaching Xiaochen's location. Xiaochen secretly observed the Holy Flame Cave. At this moment, aside from the 4 strongest flame demons, only the blue-haired flame demon remained in the Holy Flame Cave. The blue-haired flame demon glanced at the one-armed flame demon on the ground. Then he stretched out his hand and pulled the one-armed flame demon over. Then he punched, causing flames to fill the air. Several people had already paid the blaze crystals, but the city gates still did not open. They wanted to trample on the blue-haired flame demon to serve as a warning to others. Ice. The blue-haired flame demon looked like a flaming man. If not for the purple flame demon, he would definitely be misunderstood. If one fell from the city walls, the might of the ancient city would definitely result in flesh and blood splattering everywhere. If one's physical body was slightly weaker, one would be crushed into meat paste, an exceptionally terrifying sight. The blue-haired flame demon looked at Xiaochen. In his eyes, Xiaochen was already a dead man. Whoosh! Strength reigned supreme in the dragon flame ancient land. There was no such thing as hypocrisy. Xiaochen landed and opened his palm. The terrifying wound on his palm was healing quickly. Chapter 1728. Right now, Xiaochen was at the southern city gates. As the southern city gates were close to the periphery of the Dragon Flame ancient land, there were not many experts in this area. Watch out for my saber. That was a bona fide star venerate level flame demon, the leader of this flame demon riot. The beautiful saber light formed a light screen, forming a perfect defense. As Xiaochen watched the other party leave and regroup with the northern city cultivators, he revealed a contemplative expression. The fiery rain blasted terrifying deep pits in the ground. The soil instantly melted and turned into nothing. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The blue blaze crystal fell to the ground, giving off a crisp sound. It flickered with resplendent blue flames, looking exceptionally dazzling. The many eager cultivators on the city walls leaped off at this moment. Dang! Despicable human bastards who stole our lives, we meet again. After attracting the attention of the flame demons, people of the same level as the clan heads immediately targeted these experts. When these experts looked forward, they saw flaming clouds covering the desolate ancient land. Sparks of fire littered the ground, appearing everywhere, breaking the world, ruthlessly charging over. The flame demons had the advantage of physical bodies. In this dragon flame ancient land, they also had the geographical advantage. Furthermore, their cultivations were not low. Just at this moment, several experts leaped onto the city walls. All of them radiated a cold light as they looked at the rioting flame demons in front with grave expressions. However, when the blue-robed man looked up, he noticed something strange. He saw a purple flower petal appear in Xiaochen's right eye. Xiaochen could use his soul energy to target the soul and imitate illusions. After Xiaochen landed, his expression turned somewhat grave. He had been somewhat careless. He just did not want to get surrounded by the flame demons. Since this blue-haired flame demon wanted to fight, he would do as he wished. Kill. The masked bladesman smiled faintly and retracted his move. Then he stretched out his hand to grab the blue blaze crystal. Bang! 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 Xiaochen narrowed his eyes and soared into the air, moving at lightning speed to grab that blue blaze crystal. I heard that most of the experts in the northern city have already formed teams and set off to explore deeper. This flame demon riot will not be easy to deal with. Xiaochen saw through the blue-haired bladesman's ploy. He smiled coldly to himself, not clashing head-on with it. This caused the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning to lose its target, forcing it to stop. Recently, there have been many new saber experts in Dragon Flame City. In any case, the flame demon had already swallowed the so-called holy flame. There was no need to go all out against it. With a roar, the large group of flame demons immediately retreated like the wind. In that terrifying space, Xiaochen's body continued to fall. Below him was a terrifying abyss that seemed to have no end. It was also at this time that the leader of the flame devils in the center was at a disadvantage against Baiming Feng. Without much thought, the masked bladesman retreated quickly, decisively giving up on the blue blaze crystal. Xiaochen reached out his hand and grabbed the blue crystal. Baiming Feng. Xiaochen sneered in his heart. The reason why he had retreated earlier was not because he was afraid of the other party. A strange light flashed in the masked bladesman's eyes. He smiled and said, "Your saber technique is pretty good. We will definitely meet again." Among the flame demons, there was a flame demon whose entire body emitted demonic blue flames, which was especially eye-catching. All of a sudden, strange phenomena appeared. A clump of fire clouds descended from the sky and landed in front of Xiaochen, blocking him from killing. Right after Xiaochen spoke, he retreated quickly, directly giving up on the blue blaze crystal. However, a dark light came from somewhere. When the dark light appeared, it was the masked bladesman that Xiaochen had paid special attention to earlier. Xiaochen had no choice but to give up on that precious blue blaze crystal. His figure flashed as he retreated. Due to the formation's might and pressure, it looked very unsightly coming up, but it was very easy to fall down. Furthermore, with the tyrant saber in his hand and his great Tao energy, he was already undefeatable. Just at this moment, one of the experts from the northern city also attracted Xiao Chen's attention. The roaring and raging flame demons slowly pressed closer to Flame Dragon City, one of the 10 strongest swordsmen of Dragon Flame City. With him around, the flame demons will not be able to cause much of a commotion. However, the greatest weakness of the flame demons was that they did not have systematic martial techniques. Xiao Chen relied on his saber techniques. Boom! The strongest killing move of the army-breaking saber technique encased the flame demons. Killing intent appeared, mixing two great Daos. Seeing Xiao Chen successfully climb up the city walls, several people tried to imitate him. However, the results were extremely miserable. It was not as simple as Xiao Chen's high cultivation. He also exuded a heavy killing qi and an invisible aura. This was also the adventurous land that experts liked to go to. This time, the flame demon's rampage forced out so many experts. Xiao Chen did not know how many people in the northern city had yet to show up. Who knows? The flame demons are cruel. The flesh, blood, essence, and soul of human cultivators are great nourishment for them. Maybe they are greedy again. This southern flame demon rampage happens once every half a year. I wonder what's going on this time. It has only been 3 months, and it actually came again. Xiao Chen's strength immediately attracted a lot of attention in the chaotic battlefield. At the highest point of the city walls, a black-cloaked, middle-aged swordsman holding a treasure sword appeared at the same time. Supported by great Tao energy, 5 stars lit up on his 9-star primal core. The army-breaking saber technique started a massacre amid the chaos. Xiao Chen focused and calmed himself. He guarded his dantian, not panicking at all as he calmly swung his saber. This move could be considered a consummate technique of the flame demons. It covered a wide area, was fast, and possessed great destructive power. Xiao Chen spread his arms and slid backward. The saber light in his hand danced around, breaking the incoming flames. The illusion disappeared. However, the saber light in the masked bladesman's hand appeared before Xiao Chen in reality. Humph! I'll take your life! A figure whizzed through the air, causing everyone to feel waves of pressure wherever it passed. When the blue-haired flame demon saw the situation, he glared at Xiao Chen and took the opportunity to retreat. Some of the people in the northern city, who have yet to leave, were startled as well. After 10 moves, the blue-haired flame demon was at a disadvantage. It was like Xiao Chen had fallen into hell on earth. Karmic flames burned the evil spirits in the surroundings. Chains filled the space, stringing up those who had committed sins in their lives. Xiao Chen's saber techniques were ruthless, clean and efficient, with great force. Combined with his peak major primal core cultivation, a flame demon of the same cultivation could not last 3 moves against him. Every time Xiao Chen killed a flame demon, he would instantly take out a white flame crystal. The strong preyed on the weak, survival of the fittest. However, not everyone could be like Xiao Chen, easily subduing an enemy. Regular cultivators had to be careful when facing a flame demon. When the flame demons arrived on the city walls, the cultivators who could not enter the city had to fight to the death with the flame demons. The masked bladesman wore black, and his saber techniques were ruthless. He wore a mask, and his long hair draped over his shoulders. Earlier, Xiao Chen did not look carefully. Only when he started fighting did he discover that there was a bladesman among them. As for Bai Mingfeng, he was a bona fide star venerate. The feeling that he gave Xiao Chen was much stronger than that of the white-haired old man from the heavenly profound sect. The masked bladesman smiled coldly, and a black saber light charged at Xiao Chen with a strange sound, sounding like the wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves. The masked bladesman swung his saber mercilessly, chopping the blue-haired flame demon that turned around and retreated in half. The masked bladesman stretched out his hand, and the 7 deadly sins turned into a sharp saber. Then he started a massacre. Look! That white-robed bladesman is very strong. Several human cultivators caught in the shockwaves died on the spot or were poisoned by fire, forcing them to leave in a hurry. Whoosh! The northern part of the city faced the interior of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, a forbidden land with 70% of the region unexplored. Just at this moment, Bai Feng leaped into the air and landed in the middle of the flame demon army, directly clashing with the strongest flame demon. Relying on the physical body of a fiendish demon and a ferocious force, the flame demon clashed with Xiaochun, not letting up. The strong blue flame crystal could help the heavenly flame raise its rank. Flames filled the skies as a mid-ranked flame devil perished just like that. With one glance, Xiaochun could tell that this was the aura of an expert. The flaming clouds in the sky reformed into a humanoid shape. Just as the flame demon was about to charge down, a saber light soared up. After the blue-haired flame demon landed, he showed a weak expression, no longer showing his initial arrogance. The aura that the blue-haired flame demon exuded was extremely terrifying. Even from a distance, one could feel the fiendish chi from him. Xiaochun sized up the cultivators in the northern part of the city. They did indeed have some extraordinary aspects. With a casual wave, the 7 deadly sins turned into 7 beams of light and vanished. Xiaochun drew the tyrant saber, and the might of the army-breaking saber technique immediately increased significantly. Your cultivation is not high, but your saber techniques are so startling. How surprising! Xiaochun held his saber horizontally and said coldly, "What can you do to me?" After Bai Feng defeated the flame demon leader, he left silently without saying a word. This strategy was pretty good. A cultivator's veritable essence energy could not compare to a flame demon's. In the end, it would be hard to say who would win. The minor primal core flame demon could not even block one move from Xiaochun. Xiaochun's eyes flickered. After thinking for a while, he also leaped up and charged at the flame demon. In the past, the southern part of the city has fallen many times. Every time the flame demons entered the city, it was a massacre. Based on the discussions on the city walls and the information that Xiaochun came to understand, he gained a rough understanding of Dragon Flame City. Dragon Flame City was indeed a place of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Furthermore, the flame demon's reaction was very sharp. The moment Xiaochun executed the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning, he sensed something wrong and quickly dodged. Xiaochun watched coldly from the side. He did not stop the flame demon but did not join in the kicking either. However, this group of flame demons has some weight. They will not enter the northern part of the city. Dragon Flame City was divided into the northern part and the southern part. This masked bladesman's saber techniques were actually no weaker than Xiaochun's. The martial technique that the masked bladesman cultivated was actually the same as Xiaochun's Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique. If one was slightly weaker, the might and pressure would cause them to fall and turn them into a mangled mess, a sorry sight to behold. The flame demon turned into a clump of blue flame clouds and soared into the air. Then it roared ferociously, and boundless flames shot towards Xiaochun like rain. "It's coming!" Xiaochun had already discovered the preciousness of blaze crystals. They could be directly consumed by the heavenly flame, replenishing its expenditure. The blue-haired flame demon's figure flashed, and he arrived before Xiaochun. Then he threw a palm strike, sending out boundless heat waves. No one dared to stay near the two's fight. The saber strike sent the blue-haired flame demon flying. Flames continuously shot out of its body, looking like blood spurting out. Chapter 1729. Originally, the uprising of the flame demons was a huge matter for the southern city. However, after the experts of the northern city appeared, it turned into something neither too big nor too small. This matter made Xiaochun realize something. In Dragon Flame City, the northern city and the southern city were two completely different worlds. One could only venture around the periphery of the Dragon Flame ancient land, while the other ventured into the center, even exploring unknown regions. The two could not be compared at all. The difference in strength between the cultivators of the southern city and the adventurers of the northern city was clear. This was especially so for that masked bladesman. He left a deep impression on Xiaochun. In the end, Xiaochun still could not figure out why the other party would give up on the blue blaze crystal. The blaze crystal of a medial rank flame demon was rather precious. However, that blue-haired flame demon had not lived for long. Although the blue blaze crystal that Xiaochun obtained was precious, it was not that rare. If it were an old flame demon that had lived for more than 1,000 years, its value would be completely different. Of course, the strength of a 1,000-year-old medial rank flame demon would definitely be terrifying as well. That white-robed bladesman is pretty strong. A few stern-looking cultivators from the southern city gathered together and said as they watched Xiaochen leave, "For him to be able to block the Ghost Saber's move, that explains a lot. It looks like he is destined to go to the southern city. At that time, there might be a chance to work together. Haha. Perhaps he is an enemy." The strongest of the group, the azure-clad man, said indifferently, ending the topic. "Saber Ghost, sparing his life and giving up on the blaze crystal is not your style." The azure-clad man smiled indifferently when he saw the masked bladesman come over. The masked man known as Saber Ghost smiled coldly and said, "There will be plenty of time in the future." After saying that, the masked bladesman left without looking back, returning to the city alone. The azure-clad man smiled faintly, and his gaze fell on Xiaochen's back. He said, "You all go back first. I'll go and deal with that white-robed bladesman." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With a few steps, the azure-clad man seemed to vanish into thin air. Suddenly, he appeared in front of Xiaochen without any warning. Xiaochen's gaze sank. He asked with a grave expression, "What's the matter?" "My name is Lung Feng. I don't have any ill intentions. It's just that your saber technique looked familiar. It's a little similar to our Divine Shield Army's 1,000 Army Sword technique, but it's not. It's quite puzzling." The green-robed man smiled, indicating that he had no ill intentions. Divine Shield Army? What a coincidence, but it wasn't too surprising. Many sect disciples and aristocratic family disciples would choose to join the two armies under the Ocean Star when they went out for training. It was said that the Ocean Star was originally a joint effort of the many inherited noble clans of the Central Great Realm. Xiaochen did not wish to have anything to do with this. He said indifferently, "You are mistaken. That is the army-breaking saber technique, not the 1,000 Army Sword technique. I've never seen the 1,000 Army Sword technique either." Lung Feng smiled in understanding. He said, "So that is the case. If there is a chance, I hope we can work together to explore the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. Fighting alone in this Dragon Flame Ancient Land is seeking death. Having more friends is not a bad thing. Xiaochen, I don't mind cooperating if there's a chance. I hope we won't become enemies." The green-robed man narrowed his eyes slightly, his thoughts unfathomable. Then he vanished into thin air before Xiaochen. Xiaochen entered deep thought. The Space Dao? That should be right. However, it might be some inherited bloodline or some clan cultivation technique. Otherwise, given the other party's current cultivation, he was still far from being able to appear out of thin air. The Dragon Flame Ancient Land was truly filled with experts. Indeed, I came to the right place. Xiaochen smiled faintly as he calmly entered the city. Dragon Flame City did not have a city lord or any rules. Strength was the pass to enter this place. If one was strong, many things would come to them automatically. Without strength, many things would be pointless. Simply put, there were no rules about who could or could not enter the southern city or the northern city. However, if one was not strong enough and stayed in the northern city, one might be humiliated at every turn. Seeing that one was weak, one would bully one. Inviting one to join the team was also using one as cannon fodder. Everyone was very self-aware. The region one stayed in depended on one's strength. Forming a team to explore was also convenient. There was no need to seek trouble for oneself. Xiaochen stayed in the southern city for close to 3 months. During these 3 months, the flame demons rebelled 3 times. Naturally, each time had something to do with Xiaochen. Xiaochen was not in a rush to enter the northern city. He needed to raise the rank of the heavenly flame quickly to complete his first goal. After 3 adventures with the flame demon tribes, his heavenly flame finally reached rank 3. With yin and yang in balance, Xiaochen successfully executed the Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram. The effects of the Taiji Yin-Yang flame diagram executed by the primal chaos level flame were unexpectedly good, greatly increasing Xiaochen's strength. Just like that, a perfect trump card was born. In the future, even if Xiaochen ran into a star venerate, he would not have to fear them. He could face them head-on. Aside from this, Xiaochen also collected many white blaze crystals, which could be used to replenish the heavenly flame's expenditure. The heavenly flame was like a cultivator's veritable essence energy. When one wanted to release it, one could not do so indefinitely. After exhausting the heavenly flame, one needed to refine it for a while before accumulating enough. However, blaze crystals could be used as supplements, quickly replenishing the heavenly flame's energy, just like the veritable essence energy medicinal pills that cultivators consumed. On this particular day, Xiaochen was in closed-door cultivation in his courtyard. He felt that the bottleneck of his minor primal core realm had loosened significantly, and he could break through to the major primal core realm at any time. Xiaochen had been undergoing experiential training for the past 3 months. His cultivation had not fallen behind at all. He could already light up 6 stars on his 9-star primal core, and lighting up 9 stars was just around the corner. Suddenly, a murderous intent came from outside. Xiaochen, who was in closed-door cultivation, suddenly opened his eyes. He saw a person and a sword stabbing at the restrictions in his courtyard. When the sword light touched the restrictions, they crumbled like rotten wood. The layers of walls turned into powder. There was no way to stop the sword light from piercing in. In that swordsman's eyes, it was like all obstacles were nothing. That swordsman's gaze pierced through the courtyard walls, the great hall, and the many walls. He only saw Xiaochen, who was in closed-door cultivation. By the time Xiaochen opened his eyes, most of the courtyard had already been destroyed. Xiaochen, who had been in the secret room, was now exposed. The surroundings were in ruins. The sword light flew out, cold and merciless. 1 man and 1 sword unrivaled. Beiming foam? Xiaochen did not have much time to think. In the time it took for a spark to fly, he stood up and instantly executed the sharp spirit finger. Xiaochen's head supported the sky and his feet stood on the ground. He merged his veritable essence energy and vital qi into his entire body, using his body as a cauldron to communicate with the power of the world, becoming one with the world. At the critical moment, 2 fingers clamped down on that sword. In that instant, space froze. Xiaochen's entire body became like a statue. Even his hair stopped fluttering. The force contained in the sword was too strong. Xiaochen could not bounce it back. He could only swing it gently. When Xiaochen let go, he leaped back and landed on the wall behind him. Beiming Feng sheathed his sword and looked coldly at Xiaochen. This sword strike is a warning to you. Don't casually break the rules. There are existences that you and I cannot afford to offend at the edge of the Dragon Flame ancient land. In the future, you are not allowed to go to the flame demon tribes to steal young flames. Right after Beiming Feng spoke, he left, his black cloak fluttering behind him as he vanished from Xiaochen's sight. Xiaochen showed a strange expression. Every time the southern flame demons went on a rampage, Beiming Feng would make a move without seeing any other star venerates. Xiaochen had long felt that this was strange. Today he was certain that there was something fishy about this. Dragon Flame City was a land without a master. However, there were still some strong sovereigns in secret. Perhaps Beiming Feng was the sovereign of the southern city. This involved many benefits, including the flame demon tribes. As Xiaochen looked at the courtyard that only half remained, the other half looked like a sandbox that someone had erased. Xiaochen felt lucky. This Beiming Feng's sword technique was truly terrifyingly strong. Even if Beiming Feng did not use the will of soul, Xiaochen would not be a match for him. If Beiming Feng does not allow me to go, so be it. In any case, the heavenly flame has already advanced to rank 3. I already plan to head to the northern city. However, I will have to return this sword strike sooner or later. The sudden strike was merciless. If his reaction had been slightly slower, he would have died. If Xiaochen's reaction had been slightly slower, he might have gotten pierced through and died on the spot. Xiaochen was sure that if he could not block it, that Beiming Feng would not have shown mercy. He would not have minded taking another life. Dragon Flame City really could not be carried away at all times. Perhaps once one closed one's eyes, one would not be able to open them again. Xiaochen gave a deep look in the direction that Beiming Feng had taken. Then he turned around and landed, flying towards the northern city. Chapter 1730. This is incredible. That white-robed bladesman actually blocked Bai Mingfeng's sword strike. Furthermore, he only used 2 fingers. Could he have been hiding his strength? Tomorrow, the entire southern city will probably be shaken up. Someone used 2 fingers to block Bai Mingfeng's sword strike. However, in the end, Bai Mingfeng still chased him away. In the past few years, many people have broken the rules and died at Bai Mingfeng's hands. This white-robed bladesman is really lucky. There were many people in the southern city. The earlier sword strike had already startled everyone. Many people saw Xiao Chen catching Bai Mingfeng's sword strike and found it inconceivable. As everyone looked in the direction Xiao Chen left, discussions rang out. Only a few people in the southern city would discover that Xiao Chen's sharp spirit finger actually contained many mysteries despite looking simple. It was not as simple as a light pinch. Unfortunately, there were not many experts in the southern city. If it were in the northern city, there would definitely be people who could figure it out. Xiao Chen left the southern city, moving neither fast nor slow. He leaped from roof to roof for an hour before reaching the dividing line between the northern and southern cities. With Xiao Chen's speed, he would need another hour to reach the dividing line. This showed how vast Dragon Flame City was. The moment Xiao Chen landed, he saw a panting person land before Xiao Chen. That person smiled and said, "Friend, I finally caught up to you." Xiao Chen had noticed that someone was following him long ago. Furthermore, it was not just one person. However, he did not try to shake them off. He wanted to see what these people were up to. Now that someone had jumped out, it saved him some trouble. "Speak. Why are you following me?" Xiao Chen asked directly. That person wore gray robes and was not very strong. He smiled happily and said, "Friend, you are going to the northern city, right? If you want to make a living in the northern city, you will definitely have to enter the depths of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. You will definitely have to find a team. I have some connections that can directly introduce you to a strong team." Xiao Chen entered deep thought, his expression not changing. Lung Feng had said that if one wanted to explore the depths of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land alone, only death awaited them. Xiao Chen had some doubts about this. However, when he heard something similar again, he somewhat believed it. Perhaps the depths of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land were not suitable for traveling alone. "Young master, please don't doubt my identity. Every strong team has spies in the southern district. There will always be people who die during training, and the team will always be short of people. Young master obviously meets the requirements. If you can pass the test, I can also get a share of the benefits." The person who came was also frank, directly explaining to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen said lightly, "What's your name?" "Just call me Guyan. Although I am not strong enough, I have lived in this Dragon Flame City for more than 10 years. I know all the rules." Hearing Xiao Chen's tone, Guyan felt that there was hope and said with a smile, "Everyone has their own way of living. Some people are destined to have no talent or courage, and can only live like Guyan." There was no lack of such people running errands and earning resources anywhere. Xiao Chen nodded. "Lead the way." "Roger that. Let's see what's going on first." Although he preferred to work alone, Xiao Chen wasn't opposed to joining a team. After about 7 minutes, Guyan led Xiao Chen to a lavish courtyard and stopped. "Guyan, are you inviting people to join the team again? Don't bring trash over like last time and make yourself a laughing stock," a man guarding the door said with a smile when he saw Guyan. "How could I? Absolutely not this time. Absolutely not," Guyan said with a fawning smile. "How could I? Absolutely not this time. Absolutely not," Guyan said with a fawning smile. Xiao Chen followed Guyan and was about to enter the courtyard. "You still have to ask me first whether you can enter or not." The man guarding the door looked coldly at Xiao Chen. Without saying a word, he blocked Xiao Chen's path. Boom. However, right after the man spoke, Xiao Chen's fist landed on the man's chest. 5 cauldron force instantly erupted. Xiao Chen blasted the man's body into the courtyard like a small mountain, and sent the man crashing into the ground. Ignoring the shocked Guyan, Xiao Chen walked in with large strides. Xiao Chen saw the man groaning endlessly on the empty ground in the courtyard. The cultivators living in the courtyard were all startled by the commotion, and came out one after another. Xiao Chen took a rough look and found a total of 100 people. The weakest among them was a major primal core venerate. The eyes of several experts flickered, and their auras became startling. However, more importantly, Xiaochen discovered some familiar faces. The azure-clad man, Lung Feng, whom he met in the southern city 3 months ago, and the masked bladesman were among them. However, that Lung Feng did not seem to be the leader of this team. What's going on? Who is so bold to injure our people? A gray-clad old man walked out of the crowd. He swept his gaze around and stared at Xiaochen. Guyan quickly stepped forward and explained, "Senior Ma, this is the person I introduced. He used only 2 fingers to catch Bai Mingfeng's sword in the southern city." Whoosh! The moment Guyan said that, a huge commotion broke out. Many people whispered to each other, occasionally glancing at Xiaochen. Bai Mingfeng was one of the few experts in Dragon Flame City. Furthermore, he was one of the few strong swordsmen. Ordinary venerables might not even be able to withstand a single strike from him. Not to mention, Zhang Xian had caught his sword with just 2 fingers. Clearly, Senior Ma was the leader of this group of people. He was an early-stage star venerate, the highest cultivation. When the old man heard Guyan's words, his expression did not change. He said indifferently, "I believe that he would not dare to lie in front of so many people, but this old man really does not believe it. Senior Ma, he is the white-robed bladesman I told you about 3 months ago." The green-clothed man, Lung Feng, stood out and said to old Ma. Senior Ma valued Lung Feng's words. When he heard Lung Feng's words, his expression immediately warmed. "Since Lung Feng vouched for you, there is no need for you to prove your strength. Are you interested in joining our team to explore the unknown forbidden lands of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land?" Xiaochen looked around at the surrounding people. If the people going to explore the Dragon Flame Ancient Land were all like this, then it would be meaningless for Xiaochen to go alone. A single person's strength was too insignificant in front of a team. If there was a conflict and he became enemies with the team, he would not be able to retaliate at all. Xiaochen nodded and said, "Sure." Catching Bai Mingfeng's sword with just 2 fingers? Even if you are bragging, that is not how you brag. The person who spoke was also a swordsman. As he looked at Xiaochen, he showed disdain on his face. Clearly, he did not believe that Xiaochen could catch Bai Mingfeng's sword. Seeing that Xiaochen wanted to join the team, he expressed his opinion. Senior Ma's expression changed slightly. "Xiahou Yun, with Lung Feng vouching for him, it is sufficient to prove his strength." Humph! Did Lung Feng personally see him catch Bai Mingfeng's sword? If he is really that capable, I will not stop him from joining the team if he can catch my sword with just 2 fingers. Xiahou Yun hugged his sword, showing a proud and aloof expression, unwilling to cooperate. Xiahou Yun locked his gaze on Xiaochen and continued, "There is no need for you to make things difficult for Senior Ma. If you are capable, catch my sword. Use your strength to prove yourself. This is the rule of Dragon Flame City. You make your move," Xiaochen said simply as he looked at the other party. "Good. Watch out for my sword." Whoosh! Right after Xiahou Yun spoke, his figure flashed. The sword in his hand had already left its scabbard at some point in time. It gave off a cold light as it stabbed at Xiaochen at lightning speed. Xiahou Yun intentionally made things difficult for Xiaochen. The blade of his sword was covered in frost and cold qi. If Xiahou Yun caught it with his bare hands, his fingers would freeze on the spot. With a backhand strike, he could chop off Xiaochen's entire arm. Xiaochen narrowed his eyes, and in the time it took for a spark to fly, he made his move. 2 fingers firmly clamped down on Xiahou Yun's sword. To think that Xiahou Yun really dared to do this. He was truly reckless. Xiahou Yun smiled coldly in his heart. Just as he was about to draw his sword and execute a backhand strike, he discovered that he could not draw his sword at all. The surrounding space seemed to have solidified. "Sorry for my incompetence." Xiaochen gently flicked his sword, and a mix of veritable essence energy and vital qi surged out together with the sword. The sword immediately twisted and bounced Xiahou Yun back with a loud bang. He really managed to catch it. This broadened the horizons of several cultivators in the courtyard. Unexpectedly, a peak minor primal core venerate like Xiaochen still had such a move. Senior Ma laughed loudly and said, "Wonderful. Little brother's move is really brilliant. Using the body as a cauldron to communicate with the power of the world, instantly driving all the veritable essence energy and vital qi in the body. Interesting, truly interesting. Just using the body as a cauldron was already very ingenious. Not something that ordinary people could comprehend. Merging vital qi and veritable essence energy, and instantly infusing the entire body, was even more demanding on the meridians. How could a regular meridian body endure the merging of veritable essence energy and vital qi? What was even rarer was that Xiao Chen's cultivation was not high, yet he managed to do this. His veritable essence energy foundation was definitely very vast. It was very likely that he would condense a 7-star primal core. As a star venerate, Senior Ma could make out many things. However, although he could, it was practically impossible for him to do it. Just the merging of veritable essence energy and vital qi stumped him. Chapter 1731. Seeing Xiao Chen actually use only 2 fingers to clamp down on Xiahou Yun's sword, the spectators were all shocked. They whispered to each other, sharing their opinions with their surrounding companions. Regarding this sharp spirit finger, as the experts of the northern city, most of the team's experts naturally understood some of the profoundness behind it. It was easy to tell how much effort one had to put into practice and how high one's talent was required to succeed in this simple move. As they looked at Xiao Chen, they no longer had the initial disdain. No matter what Xiao Chen's cultivation was, just this move was enough to win their respect. I'm not convinced. Just now, I was just careless. If I were given another chance, I don't believe that he can still catch it. Xiahou Yun stood up, his eyes filled with unwillingness as he felt the gazes of the surrounding people. He felt the gazes of the surrounding people, as if they were looking at an idiot. To think that he was defeated by someone with 2 fingers. This was truly an extraordinary humiliation. Insolence. Senior Ma's face sank as he scolded angrily. Xiahou Yun, do you really not see it, or are you pretending not to? His gentle pinch is much more exhausting than your sword strike. To think that you actually suggested trying again. Aren't you afraid of being mocked by others? Haha. If you try again and still catch it, then you will be utterly humiliated. There were also people who were not friendly with Xiahou Yun who spoke up at this moment. The azure-clad man Lung Feng smiled and said, Brother Xiahou, everyone knows your strength. No one will underestimate you because of today's matter. This move of Xiao Chen's was indeed beautiful. If it were me, I might not be able to pierce him either. It could be seen that Lung Feng's position in the team was rather high. Not willing to affect the harmony of the team, his words were also to give Xiahou Yun a way out. Most importantly, he said that he could not pierce Xiao Chen either, leaving Xiahou Yun with a lot of face. Xiahou Yun knew that this was the only way, so he could only go with the flow and say, Xiao Chen's strength is indeed strong. I have no objections to him joining the team. Senior Ma turned his head and whispered a few words to Lung Feng. Lung Feng had a smile on his face, nodding continuously. After a while, Senior Ma said with a smile, Since no one has any objections, then Xiao Chen will officially become a member of our Starfire group from today onwards. Delu, prepare a residence for young Master Xiao. Reward Gu Yun with 5,000 medial-grade Lingyu, 100 blaze crystals, a stalk of blood flame grass, and a blood flame fruit. Big Lu was the brawny man who had been sent flying by Xiao Chen at the beginning. Gu Yun, who had accepted Xiao Chen into the group, was overjoyed when he heard of this reward and quickly bowed to express his thanks. Disperse. Senior Ma waved his hand and said a few words to Xiao Chen before leaving. On the roof, the masked bladesman known as the Ghost Saber looked at Xiao Chen, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. His figure flashed and disappeared without a trace. Lung Feng walked over slowly and said, Looks like we are really fated. It has been 3 months since we last met. I did not expect to meet you again so soon. Xiao Chen said, We are indeed fated. Has young Master Lung been in the northern city for the past 3 months? Lung Feng shook his head and sighed softly. I just returned. This time, I ran into another team. Not only did I suffer heavy casualties, but I also did not obtain any benefits. Xiao Chen thought to himself, It looks like there are not always fortuitous encounters in this dragon flame ancient land. Lung Feng smiled and said, I know what you are waiting for. Wait for another 2 months. In another 2 months, the ancient transportation formation in Dragon Flame City will open. At that time, we can directly teleport to many unexplored places in the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. An ancient transportation formation? That's right. That is a transportation formation that the dragon race built when they were still ruling this place. However, it is very old and activates only once every few decades. Recently, it has been activated only once every 100 years. Lung Feng said sullenly, the various teams have already returned to the city and started to recruit. I have been waiting for this moment. Hence, when Senior Ma saw you join, he was exceptionally happy. After chatting for a while, Lung Feng also took his leave. This place really used to be the conferred land of the dragon race. However, for some reason, why did the dragon race give up on this place? Xiao Chen wondered which of the 6 bloodlines of the dragon race once ruled this place. Xiao Chen thought to himself, becoming increasingly interested in this dragon flame ancient land. Flame dragon? There did not seem to be such a dragon. Of the 6 colored dragon races, the red dragon was of the fire attribute. It was possible that the bloodline mutated and gave birth to a flame dragon. After thinking about it, this place was most likely the former territory of the red dragons. However, that was hard to say. Just the words dragon flame could not provide much information. Any dragon could spit out dragon flame and refine fire. However, they would not be as strong and proficient as the red dragon bloodline. Young Master Xiao, your residence has already been arranged. I'll bring you over. When the man guarding the door saw Xiao Chen again, he was very respectful, not daring to act rashly. Xiao Chen collected his thoughts and nodded. Lead the way then. There were many empty rooms and pavilions in the courtyard. Everything a cultivator needed was available. There was a meditation room, a small alchemy room, and a gravity room. Although it was small, it was complete. It was even more complete than the courtyard that Xiao Chen snatched from the southern city. Xiao Chen felt very satisfied. After dismissing the man, he entered the meditation room to cultivate. After entering closed-door cultivation for 7 days, and exhausting more than 10,000 medial-grade spirit jades, Xiao Chen felt the bottleneck of the peak minor primal core realm weaken significantly. He was now one step closer to breaking through to the major primal core realm. The exquisite primal core in Xiao Chen's dantian was decorated with 9 stars, looking boundlessly resplendent. Advancing from the minor primal core realm to the major primal core realm was not a qualitative breakthrough. It was just that the amount of veritable essence energy that one could use would increase significantly. It was like a container becoming larger, able to store more energy. For cultivators, this would significantly increase their combat prowess. They would not feel any heartache when using all sorts of killing moves. Some killing moves that could not be practiced due to the amount of veritable essence energy could be learned. If Xiao Chen broke through to the major primal core realm, he was confident of practicing the 3rd move of the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique, entering hell. There are still 2 more months. That is more than enough time to break through to the major primal core realm. There is no need to rush. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and muttered to himself. What I need now are ancient dragon bones. I can start cultivating the divine dragon body tempering art's 2nd layer. Xiao Chen had already finished cultivating the divine dragon body tempering art's 1st layer. Now he officially started cultivating the 2nd layer, cultivating the dragon bones. There was a total of 206 bones in the human body. What Xiao Chen needed to do now was to cultivate all of them to the level of the ancient dragon race's dragon bones. After cultivating the dragon bones, the physical body's ability to withstand damage would increase significantly. Cultivating the dragon bones was something that lasted for a lifetime. Before one's cultivation reached a certain level, one could only cultivate the dragon bones to the color of blue. As one's cultivation increased, the dragon bones would continuously grow stronger, eventually turning into the noble golden dragon bones. Finally, when one returned to their natural state, the dragon bones would return to their normal color. Right now, Xiao Chen did not have such a high goal. He only wanted to cultivate the dragon bones to the color of blue and then cover his entire body, forming a complete dragon skeleton. If Xiaochun had some supplementary materials for cultivating the second layer, he would be able to cultivate it even faster. With sufficient dragon bones and some rare herbs, Xiaochun could turn all the bones in his body blue in 2 months. At that time, when the ancient transportation formation opened and he entered the inner region, his strength would increase significantly. After leaving, Xiaochun went to look for Senior Ma, who was currently busy, and explained his purpose for coming. You want the true dragon remains? Xiaochun shook his head and replied, They are not true dragon remains. They are great desolate Aeon dragon bones. True dragons could not even compare to the 6-colored divine dragons. Xiaochun did not care for their remains. What Xiaochun needed was the great desolate Aeon. When the 10,000 races fought for supremacy, those were the dragon bones of the pure-blooded dragon race, not the bones of cultivators with dragon race bloodlines. The true dragon remains left in the Kunlun realm could not compare to the pure-blooded dragon bones of the great desolate Aeon. Senior Ma's eyes flickered as he said, It might be difficult in other places. However, it is not difficult in this dragon flame ancient land. Many people guess that this dragon flame ancient land was a battlefield of the great desolate Aeon in the past, as people occasionally found fragments of great desolate Aeon dragon bones in the depths of the dragon flame ancient land. How many spirit jades do you have? I'll send people to collect them for you. I still have some connections in Dragon Flame City. After all, Senior Ma was a Star Venerate level expert. Furthermore, he managed such a large team in the northern city. He had many more connections than Xiaochun. However, based on Senior Ma's expression, he only treated this as a business deal, and did not intend to let Xiaochun benefit. After all, Senior Ma did not have much of a friendship with Xiaochun. The so-called team was free to come and go, and there was no direct relationship. Perhaps Senior Ma himself would leave Dragon Flame City if they ran into some great fortuitous encounter. At that time, the team would immediately disband. Xiaochun had a clear mind. He said, The more the better. No matter how many pure-blooded dragon bones there are, I can take them all. Good. I'll give you the results 3 days later. Deal. As Senior Ma watched Xiaochun leave, he entered deep thought. This fellow's origins are unknown. His cultivation is not high, but he is unfathomable. His tone is also startlingly bold. Even when facing a Star Venerate, Xiaochun remained calm and collected, not showing any servile behavior. Xiaochun hoped that Senior Ma did not recruit an ingrate. There were many cases of traitors appearing in teams in Dragon Flame City. Under the temptation of benefits, no one could be completely trusted. However, there was no need to pay too much attention to this Xiaochun. After all, he was only a peak minor primal core cultivator, far from Senior Ma's level. The ones that Senior Ma truly needed to be wary of were Lungfeng, the Ghost Saber, and the others, existences that could threaten him. Senior Ma just treated obtaining pure-blooded dragon bones for Xiaochun as a business deal. If the other party's strength increased, it would be a good thing for the team. After thinking for a long time, Senior Ma personally supervised this matter for Xiaochun. 3 days later, Xiaochun ran all over Dragon Flame City. Using his connections, he collected all the pure-blooded dragon bones that he could. There are 30 pure-blooded dragon bones. Check them yourself. Several of them are perfectly preserved spine bones. 3 days later, Senior Ma showed Xiaochun the pure-blooded dragon bones he collected. Senior Ma revealed a cocky expression. Only he could collect so many pure-blooded dragon bones in such a short time, collecting 30 true dragon skeletons. If it were anyone else, they would not be able to do so. Who knew? Disappointment flashed in Xiaochun's eyes. There are not many, but it should be enough. Many thanks, Senior Ma. An embarrassed expression flashed on Senior Ma's face. Then he smiled and said, Your tone is really extraordinary. A total of 3 million spirit jades. Xiaochun gave Senior Ma a strange look. However, he did not say anything. After handing over the spirit jades, he turned and left. Chapter 1732. After breaking through the bottleneck, Xiaochun's veritable essence energy cleansed his entire body, raising his physical body and physique to another level. During the ancient times, this type of transport formation was called a Dao platform. It could move through the 3,000 great realms, roam the 7 great forbidden seas, travel between the 2 realms of yin and yang. Lung Feng looked at the terrible surroundings and asked, Senior Ma, where are we now? Another 3 days passed, and the 10 dragon bones were successfully transformed. After returning to his residence, Xiaochen entered closed-door cultivation and started to cultivate the divine dragon body tempering art's 2nd layer. After chatting for a while, Meng Zhuang took his leave. Spiritual qi gathered and converged toward Xiaochen in the eye of the formation, turning into streams. A terrifying dragon roar could be heard, and all the bones in Xiaochen's body crackled. Dragon might spread out from Xiaochen's body as if it was corporeal. We can only pray for good luck. Furthermore, Senior Ma is very experienced. He went to the depths of the dragon flame ancient land in the past and knows how to dodge. The dragon bones and dragon tendons in Xiaochen's body seem to have some kind of connection to the will of the divine dragon, making him feel closer to the dragon pattern cauldron. The experts of Dragon Flame City already gathered nearby. The Dao platform flickered with light as batch after batch of the city's cultivators were sent to an unknown region of the Dragon Flame ancient land. A moment later, the Dao platform's body glowed with divine light, and a door of light appeared. Lung Feng nodded. Not only are all the strong groups in Dragon Flame City preparing to go all out, but many rank 5 sects and noble clans in the Great Thousand Realms are also using the activation of the ancient teleportation formation as a experiential training for themselves. Xiaochen's entire body, from the inside to the outside, became radiant. As Xiaochen passed through the door, he immediately felt his body and soul sink. His entire body formed a complete divine dragon skeleton. There were always some fragments that, due to various reasons, didn't lose their ancient aura, surviving until now. The early-stage major primal core realm is finally not the minor primal core realm. I still have to catch up. Xiaochen regained his calm. His aura was the same as before he went into seclusion. More importantly, cultivating this divine dragon body tempering art also tempered his vital qi. 1 hour later, all the medial-grade spirit jades in the formation had weathered away. So. Using the pureblood dragon bones, it took him a month and a half to completely transform the dragon bones. Assemble. What about Gui Dao? Rival a star venerate? Old Ma was in high spirits. Beside him was Xiahou Feng, whom Lung Feng and Meng Zhuang had spoken of. Xiaochen put away the dragon pattern cauldron and took out medial-grade spirit jades. Then he placed them in the formation of the cultivation room. Meng Zhuang introduced politely. That day, Xiaochen caught Xiahou Yun's sword with 2 fingers. Meng Zhuang had seen it with his own eyes. There were many strong people in the team. Existences that could rival star venerates definitely had something extraordinary about them. Coupled with the ample preparation time, the process of breaking through the bottleneck was smooth and uneventful. Any specialized cultivation room would have a formation similar to a spirit gathering formation, which could absorb the spiritual essence in the spirit jades more efficiently. Every day, Xiaochen would observe the dragon pattern cauldron and experience the will of the divine dragon. He would consume the dragon bones and speed up his cultivation of the divine dragon body tempering art. The great wasteland continent shattered into countless fragments, forming tens of thousands of great worlds. The Dao platform could only unleash 10 to 20% of its power. Old Man Ma's opening price of 3 million spirit jades was truly a scam for him. This slightly startled Xiaochen. There were at least 100 people in the entire team. His eyes gained some spirituality, looking spirited and able to see through people's hearts. His observation of things became more detailed and complete. All the sharpness in his eyes vanished. Xiaochen gently knocked on the wooden table and muttered, Rank 5 sects have sovereign personages holding down the fort. The noble clans of the dynasties all have the inheritances of their predecessors. All of them are not easy to deal with. If I run into them, it will be really difficult. The energy quickly flowed through all the meridians in Xiaochen's body, heading for his 9-star primal core. The current Xiaochen could not be said to be brand new, with no qualitative changes. However, his strength had increased by quite a bit. As Meng Zhuang said, Xiahou Feng's strength could not be underestimated. When he stood beside Old Ma, his aura was no weaker. With a thought, Xiaochen withdrew his aura. After the talisman strips were distributed, someone on the Dao platform contacted Old Ma. Old Ma waved his hand, and everyone ascended the Dao platform. Meng Zhuang thought very highly of Old Ma's strength and experience. Xiaochen's seated cross-legged body slowly floated up. His long hair fluttered, and he showed a solemn expression. Is it because of the activation of the ancient transportation formation? Meng Zhuang paused for a moment before continuing. However, not many came. The depths of the Dragon Flame ancient land are very vast. It will not be easy to run into them. However, right now, the dragon characters were incomplete, and the tall platform was dilapidated, showing the vicissitudes of history. Xiaochen opened his eyes and looked at the dragon pattern cauldron before him again. He vaguely felt even more moved. In half a month, he had converted half of the 206 bones. After another month, he had converted all the bones into dragon bones. Let's go. Xiaochen's vital qi increased from 5 cauldron force to 6 cauldron force. I am Meng Zhuang. I know that Brother Xiao lives next door, and wanted to visit long ago. Unfortunately, Brother Xiao has been in closed-door cultivation for the past 2 months, and could not find an opportunity. After a while, members of Old Ma's team appeared beside Xiaochen one after another. That's right. The time it takes to repair the ancient teleportation formation is getting longer and longer. This time, it took 100 years. Next time, it might take 200 years, even 500. Naturally, the nearby rank 5 sects and noble clans will not let go of this opportunity. However, without Old Man Ma's connections, Xiaochen would not have been able to obtain so many dragon bones in 3 days. Hence, Xiaochen did not say anything. If an outsider were here, they would find it hard to connect Xiaochen's current aura to the normally low-profile, reserved white-clad youth. Xiaochen saw a boundless wasteland. It was dark and gloomy, with strong winds howling and dust spreading everywhere. When mentioning the dragon bones, Old Ma knew that he had tricked Xiaochen. He smiled in embarrassment and continued distributing the talisman strips. Xiaochen muttered to himself, encouraging himself. 7 days later, the first bone was successfully converted into a blue dragon bone. Furthermore, our team ranks within the top 5 in Dragon Flame City's northern region. Aside from geniuses like Lung Feng, there is also Xiahou Feng. These 2 people are strong enough to rival Star Venerates. The spiritual light in the surroundings suddenly vanished. The resplendent and translucent 9-star primal core absorbed all the light. Old Ma started to distribute the talisman strips to everyone. When it was Xiaochen's turn, his sharp eyes noticed something different about Xiaochen. The ancient transportation formation, in the center of the northern region. When Xiaochen heard that, he felt slightly surprised. The rank 5 sects and the noble clans are all startled? Under the leadership of Old Ma, Lung Feng, and the other elites, the team started to gather at the colossal dragon. It's hard to say. The depths of the Dragon Flame ancient land are very vast. There are unknown regions everywhere. You all lead your own teams and carefully explore the surroundings. Don't take any risks. Meng Zhuang smiled and said, It's fine. Brother Xiao, after being in closed-door cultivation for 2 months, you probably do not know that a storm is brewing in the northern region of Dragon Flame City. Undercurrents are surging, and all sorts of people are gathering. It is not very peaceful. This person was Xiaochen's neighbor, an old man in Old Ma's team. An ancient and boundless great desolate Aeon dragon might surged out. This was an ancient aura that had gone through the baptism of many epochs during the great desolate Aeon, and still did not fade. The cultivators in the same batch of Dao platforms would not be too far from each other. Each batch would be randomly sent to the depths of the Dragon Flame ancient land. After crossing many obstacles and entering the depths of the Dragon Flame ancient land, there would be fortuitous encounters. However, there would be even more danger. All of these were the benefits of cultivating the divine dragon body tempering art. After a while, Xiaochen opened his eyes, and a brilliant light flickered in them. A sharp light radiated from his entire body, and strong winds swept out in all directions. It was very rare for 2 batches of teams to be sent to the same location. 3 days later, all the members of Old Ma's team gathered. This was a tall platform that looked ancient and ancient, made of divine stones and treasure pillars. Ancient dragon characters carved on the platform looked majestic and unfathomable. This could be considered a familiar face. When adventuring in the future, they could take care of each other at crucial moments. This was a Taoist gate. After passing through this gate, one would enter the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, a mysterious hinterland that many people had never reached before. Young Master Xiao, your complexion looks pretty good. After 2 months of closed-door cultivation, your strength has improved significantly. Xiao Chun did not have to worry about exhausting his veritable essence energy, and could execute many killing moves. After filling up the grooves in the formation, Xiao Chun closed his eyes and circulated the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. These were the elites of the sects of the dozens of nearby astral clusters. None of them were simple. Xiao Chun was rather satisfied with their speed. At this moment, he could only rely on the experienced old Ma. Xiahou Feng and Lung Feng, the 2 young experts, felt confused. The weakest among them was a major primal core venerate. All of them radiated sharpness and had calm auras. They were all outstanding geniuses capable of fighting above their cultivation realms. Xiao Chun received the talisman strip and said indifferently, "I still have to thank Old Ma for the dragon bones." Everyone sighed in amazement, feeling exceptionally shocked. The formation spun silently, flickering with a dazzling spiritual light between the patterns. This allowed Xiao Chun's vital qi to contain the state of the divine dragon as he punched. The stirred veritable essence energy washed through his entire body, including his internal organs, every cell and pore. A tyrannical aura spread out from within. Meng Zhuang revealed a doubtful expression. He shook his head and said, "I'm not sure." He has always been a lone ranger, and does not have a strong presence. He only joined the team a few months ago, and is not as experienced as Lung Feng and Xiahou Feng. Hearing Meng Zhuang talk about the team, Xiao Chun asked about the masked bladesman. There is still half a month left. It is time to break through the minor primal core bottleneck. After Old Ma entered, his expression turned rather grave. He had been to the depths of the hinterlands before and knew how dangerous it was. The dragon bones spun continuously, forming a huge whirlwind in Xiao Chun's body. Of the 30-odd pureblood dragon bones, only a few were remains. These would be worth 2 million meteor-grade spirit jades at most. In the afternoon, when Xiao Chun came out of closed-door cultivation, he unexpectedly received a visitor. Xiao Chun had a firm foundation in the first place. There was no major bottleneck between the minor primal core realm and the major primal core realm. Practice makes perfect. After figuring out the ropes, Xiao Chun's cultivation speed increased. Take this talisman strip and crush it when necessary. It can send you back to the Tao platform. It can be considered a life-saving talisman. However, activating this talisman requires some time. Remember, the fingernail-sized 9-star primal core was crystalline and translucent. As spiritual energy poured in, it flickered with resplendent and dazzling light. Chapter 1733. Under normal circumstances, if one wanted to enter the unknown region of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, one would have to form a team and take it one step at a time. He passed through many dangerous forbidden areas and forcefully killed his way in. By the time they went deeper, they were already exhausted and couldn't even protect themselves, so they didn't have the energy to explore other places. Through the ancient transportation formation, one could be sent directly to the unknown lands of the Dragon Flame Ancient Land, saving a lot of effort. No matter what, we wouldn't be able to reach this place even if we had the ability to. Since we're already here, let's explore it properly. Don't act rashly. Senior Ma called out to the people in the team to form their own teams and explore the surroundings. Everyone formed teams of 2s and 3s, with people they were familiar with, and carefully explored the area. The martial artists who came here were all elites of the sects and had rich experience in the Jianghu. None of them were blinded by excitement. Not long after, the sounds of intense fighting could be heard. It was a few cultivators who had run into some unknown ferocious beast. Immediately, many of the stronger members of the team soared into the sky and rushed over to help. Xiao Chen's gaze swept over, and his heavenly insight divine eye opened slightly as he took in the situation in the distance. A few strange flame wolves with blazing eyes swayed their tails as they fought with the cultivators on Senior Ma's team. That was a three-tailed fire wolf. Its physical body had been cleansed by the dragon flame since it was young, and it was far stronger than its kind in the outside world. The ones he encountered now seemed to be even more powerful. Even when the major primal core venerates worked together, they found it hard to end the battle quickly. Only when a late-stage major primal core expert rushed over did they manage to kill these three-tailed fire wolves. This three-tailed fire wolf's body has been cleansed by the dragon flame, so it can be sold for a high price in the outside world. Especially the three fire tails, they are especially precious and can be used to forge fire-type Dao soldiers. After killing the three-tailed fire wolf, everyone revealed joyful expressions as they divided the materials. After that, they were attacked by many ferocious beasts one after another. Everyone in the party was cautious, and they weren't too far away from each other. Most of them were scared but not in danger, and no one was hurt. Xiao Chun and Meng Zhuang were in the same team, and it was rather peaceful. There were no dangerous incidents. Suddenly Xiao Chun stopped. He frowned as he sensed a dangerous aura. Boom! The ground split open, and a serpent covered in fiery patterns with a horn on its head charged out. It's a flame jiao snake. Everyone be careful. Meng Zhuang shouted and leaped into the air, throwing a punch at the flame jiao snake. His aura surged as he punched out. It was as if a meteor had fallen to the ground with great force. With a boom, the flame jiao snake was sent flying by Meng Zhuang's punch. When it landed on the ground, it kicked up a cloud of dust. The people in the team quickly took the opportunity to retreat. After the flame dragon serpent landed on the ground, it turned its body a few times, flicked its tongue and pounced over again. Xiao Chen's eyes were sharp. He found that the place where the snake had just been hit had only a few subtle marks. He couldn't see any injuries. Xiao. Lightly pushing off the ground, Xiao Chen roared. The dragon bones in his body creaked as he gathered his strength and punched out. The dragon tendons carried 6 cauldron force as they surged out. At the same time, a berserk dragon might spread out. Boom! Dragon might mix with 6 cauldron force and struck the flame jiao snake. If this punch landed on a regular major primal core venerate, it would be sufficient to send them flying and shatter their internal organs. However, this flame jiao snake's defense was startling. The flame patterns on its skin flickered like flowing water. The flame jiao snake flew around a few times in the air before charging over again. Xiao Chen shouted coldly, and a faint layer of purple flames covered his entire body. Then with a flash he landed on the flame jiao snake's head. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand, and the 7 deadly sins quickly gathered, infused with great Dao energy. Then he stabbed down without hesitation. Pusai. Blood spurted out. The saber entered the flame jiao snake by 3 centimeters, but it could not go any deeper. Brother Xiao, be careful. Just at this moment, Meng Zhuang shouted anxiously. A strong wind blew by Xiao Chen's ears, and a heat wave surged into the air. The flame jiao snake's tail was like a flaming tornado chopping at him. Xiao Chen drew his saber back to defend. Then he ruthlessly swung his saber and clashed with this snake tail, which contained huge force. Bang! The flaming tornado scattered, and the saber light left a long, bloody wound on the snake tail. Xiao Chen used the force to fly back. Then he somersaulted a few times in the air and dissipated the force. When Meng Zhuang saw the situation, his expression relaxed. Then he worked together with Xiao Chen to deal with this flame jiao snake. After a long, intense battle, this flame jiao snake finally submitted. The two were incredibly fatigued. The flame jiao snake's defense and life force were incredibly startling. Fighting it was not easy at all. Of course, this was also because Xiao Chen had not used his full power. If Xiao Chen used his full power now, then there would be no need to explore this dragon flame ancient land. Brother Zhao's strength is truly admirable. If I ran into this flame jiao snake alone, my chances of victory would be slim. Meng Zhuang said with lingering fear in his heart. The flame jiao snake's combat prowess already rivaled that of a peak major primal core cultivator. Furthermore, it was in this dragon flame ancient land, so its strength was even more terrifying. Meng Zhuang's words were not humble at all. Xiaochen smiled, tacitly agreeing. Then he called out to the team and started to split up the flame Jiao snake's corpse. As expected, Xiaochen put in the most effort and obtained the most precious flame Jiao snake's king horn. The exploration proceeded in an orderly manner. This was not the first time Senior Ma's team was on a mission. Everything was done in an orderly manner. The division of labor was clear, and the harvest was pretty good. However, everyone knew that this was just a small fight. If it ended like this, the Heavenly Palace would not be able to deal with it. If this ended like this, they would have to find a great fortuitous encounter to activate the ancient transportation formation that activated only once every 100 years. After most of the day, everyone's mouths were dry. They had exhausted a significant amount of physical strength and energy. This place drained them even more than the outside world. When Senior Ma saw the situation, he waved his hand and said, "Let's rest for a while. It is still early. There is no rush." Everyone was tired, so they drank water and rested, replenishing their energy. Since coming here, they had not stopped. If they were not fighting, they were exploring the place. If they were not cultivators of the physical body, they would get tired easily. Xiaochen remained calm as he drank a mouthful of water and casually looked around. He had not exhausted much energy. Where did so many ants come from? The resting cultivators suddenly discovered many fiery red ants crawling out of the cracks in the ground. These ants were not mutated beasts and did not have much offensive power. However, when they appeared in such a dense group, it was somewhat scary. Boom, boom, boom. Several people could not bear to watch any longer, so they all made a move. Hence, large swathes of red ants were wiped out. "Stop!" Senior Ma shouted. When he saw these red ants, his expression immediately changed drastically. "Oh no! These are underground fire ants. They are very resistant to high temperatures. Under normal circumstances, they would not appear at all. They would not be able to endure the high temperature, and leave the ground only before the dragon flame erupts." Dragon flame eruption. Hearing Senior Ma's words startled everyone. One of the scariest situations in the dragon flame ancient land was an underground dragon flame eruption. That scene, in this complicated and harsh environment, was simply hell on earth. The power of an individual. The strength of an individual appeared extremely insignificant in the eruption of dragon flame. The dragon flame erupts. We need to find a place with water to take refuge. Otherwise we will all die. Quickly search. Senior Ma's expression turned scarily sullen. The others were affected, feeling anxious for some reason as they started searching everywhere. Dragon flame eruption. Before coming here, Xiaochen had obtained information on this. That was a mysterious phenomenon even more terrifying than a volcano eruption. This was because the thing erupting was the dragon flame true flame, which had accumulated for many tens of thousands of years. The demonic flame was known as the underground abyss. Wherever the dragon flame passed, it would destroy the world. Even a cloud sea star venerate would be burned to ashes on the spot if the underground dragon flame sprayed them, leaving nothing behind. No wonder Senior Ma was so nervous. Fortunately, Senior Ma was here. How could the others have such experience? If they could not discover the strange movements of the fire ants in advance, they would not even know how they died. At the very least, they knew to find a place with water to take refuge. Senior Ma, there is a rather large lake 150 kilometers to the north. At this crucial moment, Xiaochen could not hide anything. He withdrew his heavenly eye and told Senior Ma about the lake he saw. "Are you sure?" Xiaochen replied indifferently. "This concerns life and death. Why would I interfere?" Not wanting to waste time, Senior Ma shouted, "Gather up and follow me." To these geniuses and outstanding talents, 150 kilometers would take no more than a cup of tea to traverse in the outside world. However, traveling in the depths of this dragon flame ancient land was extremely arduous. Ancient dragon might was everywhere. This deterred them from flying casually as it drained them greatly. They could only do simple jumps and glides. The air clearly turned drier. Everyone was covered in sweat, and their throats felt like they were on fire. No one dared to doubt that the dragon flame would erupt again. This was already a very clear sign. Senior Ma, there is water in front. There really is water. After 150 kilometers, the group indeed saw a rather vast lake. Senior Ma smiled and said, Xiao Chun, you saved everyone. Xiao Feng and Lung Feng looked at Xiao Chun in surprise. There really was water. Even with the two's eyesight, they could not see so far in this place. They wondered how Xiao Chun saw it. Xiao Chun showed a calm expression, not revealing anything. He only said some polite words to Senior Ma and did not say anything else. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone flew up and stood in the center of the lake. Then Senior Ma instructed calmly, water-attributed and ice-attributed cultivators, stand to my left. Wind-attributed cultivators, stand to my right. The rest, stand behind me. Someone comprehended the water great Tao? Or perhaps a water-attributed Tao tool? Right after Senior Ma spoke, a person stepped forward and pointed to the sword in his hand, indicating that he had a water-attributed Tao tool. Senior Ma nodded and said, very good. Later, you will lead these water-attributed and ice-attributed cultivators. Wind-attributed cultivators, remember to create strong winds, and do your best to scatter the dragon flame. The other cultivators will work together to form the final barrier. Rumble. Suddenly the world trembled. The people standing on the water could not control their bodies, swaying left and right. A beam of fiery light soared into the sky in the distance. Closely following that, 1 beam, 2 beams, 3 beams, countless beams of dragon flame erupted from the ground. The flames dyed the world like it was the end of the world. The clouds for 5,000 kilometers around surged, looking like they were burning through the sky. Overwhelming heat waves mixed with berserk dragon might swept out in all directions. No matter where one hid, they could not avoid it. Many of the panicking strong ferocious beasts melted on the spot, leaving only their skeletons. At the crucial moment, Senior Ma spread out his will of soul and encased everyone. He said, attack! Quickly attack! Follow my instructions and get into formation. Chapter 1734. Enveloped by Senior Ma's will of soul, the pressure on the lake immediately lessened significantly. The youth holding the water-attributed Tao tool drew his sword, stirring up all the water in the lake. This formed an incomparably huge water tornado encircling everyone. Everyone who cultivated water-attributed cultivation techniques used their power at the same time. They infused their veritable essence energy into the berserk water tornado. The ice-attributed cultivators all brought out their mysterious phenomena. Snowflakes drifted down, causing cold chi to spread out. Wind. At the same time, the cultivators who cultivated wind-attributed cultivation techniques formed a wind barrier around the water tornado. Everyone did not care about their veritable essence energy expenditure, doing their best to endure. Under Senior Ma's lead, Xiao Chun and the others formed the final veritable essence energy line of defense. The strong wind was the outermost layer, the water tornado and ice were the second layer, and the veritable essence energy shield was the third layer. The defense already reached the limit of the entire team. However, no one dared to lower their guard or be careless. The scene of the dragon flame eruption destroying so many ferocious beasts in that instant was still fresh in their minds, sending a chill down their spines. No one knew how long the dragon flame eruption would last, so they could only persevere. Rumble. Intense explosions rang out outside. That was the sound of the strong wind clashing with the dragon flame. Rumble. Rumble. A few of the weaker wind-attributed cultivators immediately found it hard to endure. Blood leaked out of their mouths, and their complexions paled. For hours later, the outermost wind barrier broke, unable to provide protection for the water tornado. However, the water tornado was driven by that youth holding the Tao tool. It contained a complete great Tao. Furthermore, with the help of the many water-attributed cultivators and ice-attributed cultivators, it could be considered the firmest defense. Outside the barrier, dragon roars resounded in the sky. The horrifying dragon might shook the surroundings. Every time the dragon flame erupted, a loud sound accompanied it. It was an experiential training for the hearts of the people. Several cultivators with weaker mental states even activated their great desolate Aeon bloodlines amid the continuous roars to resist. The people on the lake all had a hard time, including Senior Ma. Only Xiaochen was not one of them. Xiaochen possessed the blue dragon bloodline, and did not care about ordinary dragon might in the first place. Not only did the dragon's might not deter him, but it also did not seem to have any effect on him. Instead, Xiaochen felt a sense of familiarity. The bloodline in his body seemed to be ignited by the dragon roar outside, boiling endlessly. However, he could vaguely sense that something was wrong. He couldn't tell what was wrong. The great desolate Aeon dragon might still existed. Xiaochen could not help but think to himself, just the remnant dragon might is already so strong. I wonder how strong a true pure-blooded dragon race cultivator is? The dragon flame eruption lasted for half a day. If the eruption continued for a period of time, no one could guarantee that they would be able to hold on. Senior Ma stretched out his hand and smacked it, shattering the frozen water spout with cracking sounds. The scenery of the outside world reappeared in the vision of Xiaochen and the others. The original lake had disappeared, and the ground was covered with thick limestone. The terrain had changed greatly. The original tall mountains no longer existed, and had become flat land. The wasteland became a sunken basin, the landform in his memory. In the short span of half a day, it had completely changed. The sky was bright red. The flaming clouds formed by the dragon flame would not scatter quickly. Occasionally, strong winds blew, and the clouds shattered. Then, a rain of fire containing the dragon flame fell. The dragon flame was very scary. Even though it had weakened significantly, it still inspired fear. Everyone looked around and became distracted for a while. This was indeed somewhat shocking. Who would have thought that in just half a day's time, the world would be turned upside down? The situation completely changed. The blue sea turns into mulberry fields in a single thought. Senior Ma could not help sighing softly, feeling moved in his heart. Before such mighty power, even a star venerate like Xiaochen felt insignificant with his individual strength. Whoosh! Just at this moment, an azure light emerged from the ground in the distance, disappearing in a flash. The azure light appeared for a very short time, so fast that it was practically undetectable. However, the people present all had excellent eyesight. Practically all of them caught sight of that azure light. Clearly, the azure light appearing on the flat land was extraordinary. Many people turned their gazes to the experienced Senior Ma, who had been here once before. Senior Ma did not disappoint. After thinking for a while, he said, "It's dragon chi." The dragon flame eruption changed the mountains and rivers on the surface. Similarly, it also changed the geomancy world below. There have been rumors that an ancient dragon city was buried in the depths of the dragon flame ancient land. We might have run into it. Lung Feng frowned and said, "A dragon city?" Senior Ma nodded. "That's right. It's a dragon city. I heard that this soaring dragon great realm was once the conferred land of a certain divine dragon bloodline. That divine dragon bloodline was the strongest bloodline in the history of the dragon race. Later, it declined and disappeared for some reason. However, no matter what, this dragon flame ancient land has many connections with that mysterious dragon race. In the past, I heard that someone saw a dragon city in the depths of the dragon flame ancient land. Unfortunately, the terrain of this dragon flame ancient land changes frequently. We might see it occasionally, but the next time we see it might be in our next life. If it really is a dragon city, then we are very lucky." Senior Ma revealed a look of joy on his face. He seemed somewhat excited. Despite his age, Senior Ma was still putting in so much effort, gambling on a chance. If he failed this time, then his cultivation would stop at the star venerate realm, unable to advance further in this life. Senior Ma had waited for this opportunity for many years. His mood was easy to imagine. Xiaofeng said, "I know about the dragon race's 6-colored divine dragons. Could there be another bloodline?" Lung Feng also looked at Senior Ma in confusion. He had never heard of this before. Senior Ma's expression already recovered its calm. He said indifferently, "When you go back and ask your elders, you will know. I lost myself earlier. Even if there really is a dragon city, who knows what remains after tens of thousands of years?" They did not hide their conversation. Hence Xiaochen, who was not far away, heard it as well. Xiaochen's heart immediately thumped heavily. Blue dragon. It's a blue dragon. This was once the conferred land of the blue dragon bloodline. The blue dragon bloodline was the master of this dragon flame ancient land. No wonder Xiaochen felt a familiar smell the moment he entered the dragon flame ancient land. Senior Ma, we found the place where the dragon chi appeared. A startled cry made Senior Ma raise his eyebrows, instantly stopping his conversation with Lung Feng and Xiahou Feng. Whoosh! Senior Ma's figure flashed, and he quickly headed for the source of the sound. Xiahou Feng and Lung Feng exchanged glances with one another, their eyes filled with disbelief. Could it be that the dragon race really has an unknown divine dragon bloodline? This dragon flame ancient land was once one of the other parties' conferred lands? After thinking for a while, the two quickly followed. Everyone on the team gathered over. Senior Ma, we saw it clearly just now. Another azure light appeared right here. However, it is even weaker and very hard to notice. That person pointed to a crack in the ground as he spoke to Senior Ma. Senior Ma thought for a while before spitting out one word. Dig. The moment Senior Ma gave the order, everyone on the team immediately worked together and started digging with all their might. Before Senior Ma's grave expression, the ground quickly opened up, and that weak crack continuously widened. When the team dug to 200 meters, a cold wind blew from below. We got through. The presence of wind meant that there was a huge space below with good airflow. As the team continued digging, a passageway with clear signs of human activity appeared, eliciting joy on everyone's faces. Ancient Dragon City. It is definitely a dragon city. Senior Ma revealed a joyful expression as he took the lead and entered the passageway. The team followed the passageway forward. After a long journey, they finally reached the end of the passageway. When the team looked around, they found themselves in a vast city. Azure floorboards lined the ground, and pavilions, shops, inns and restaurants surrounded them. This was a well-preserved ancient city. However, because they were deep underground, most of the place was dark. However, this did not prevent everyone from feeling the majesty and beauty of this city back then. It was probably no weaker than Dragon Flame City. In fact, it might even surpass Dragon Flame City. Lung Feng sized up the surroundings and sighed softly. It really is an ancient dragon city. The architectural style is even more ancient than Dragon Flame cities. Chapter 1735. Ancient Dragon City. Upon hearing that, the cultivators on the team all felt somewhat excited. The strength of the dragon race spoke for itself. This was especially so for the ancient era, when the entire dragon race was at its peak. Although the dragon race was strong now, many of the great desolate 100 races could compete with it. Furthermore, after the noble clans established their dynasties, the luck of the great 1,000 realms changed slightly. The dynasties flourished, and their luck flourished. In the past few years, they had even developed to their peak. The 4 dynasties were all major factions. Be it the aloof holy rank sects or the strong races of the great desolate 100 races, none dared to challenge them. However, things were different during the ancient era. After the fiendish demons caused chaos, the various races with great desolate Aeon bloodlines divided up the great 1,000 realms. They competed with each other, resulting in the 100 Races War. Among them, the dragon race was one of the strongest, ruling over the place. However, there was no such thing as eternal prosperity in the world. The dragon race rose and fell several times. Furthermore, the noble clans rose. For the sake of suppressing the strong great desolate Aeon bloodline clans and holy rank sects, the noble clans worked together to establish a supreme dynasty. From then on, the situation of the world was set. Although the dragon race was still a peak faction, it no longer had the boldness of dominating the world during the 100 Races War. Being able to enter an ancient dragon city was a great fortuitous encounter. However, an ancient dragon city had existed for many tens of thousands of years. No one could guarantee that there were still valuable treasures in there. After all, the dragon race of the other bloodlines were still around. Perhaps the other races split up the valuable treasures when the dragon race declined. Without any valuable treasures, it would just be an ancient city. It was not an inheritance land of a sect, or a place to nurture natural treasures. There was nothing special about it. Tens of thousands of years later, there might be other living beings in this underground dragon city. For example, the flame demons that liked to live underground. There were many ferocious beasts and fiendish demons in the depths of the dragon flame ancient land. Everything was possible. One could not celebrate too early. Xiao Chen was the last to arrive. He felt excited, but he did not want to appear too strange and attract the attention of others, causing them to make wild guesses. Xiao Chen calmly sized up his surroundings. He knew very little about the blue dragon bloodline in the Great Thousand Worlds. He was also filled with curiosity as he looked around. According to what Senior Ma said, it was very possible that this place was indeed the dragon city that the blue dragon bloodline had once built. However, for some reason, Xiao Chen felt that something was wrong from the moment the dragon flames erupted. If it really was the land of the blue dragon, how could it spit out such terrifying dragon flames? The blue dragon was of the wood element, and was not good at using fire. That was what the red dragon was good at. However, the red dragon bloodline still existed to this day, and everyone was familiar with it. This did not fit Senior Ma's theory. Doubts rose in Xiao Chen's mind, and he could not get rid of them. Old Ma, I feel that there is something strange about this city. It had been submerged underground for tens of thousands of years. Logically speaking, the Yin energy should be very dense. But after waiting for a while, I didn't feel anything. Something is very wrong. Lung Feng cautiously observed his surroundings and said in a low voice. Senior Ma nodded. That's right. I sensed it as well. The spiritual energy fluctuations are also somewhat strange. The fire-attributed spiritual energy is practically gone. This is the Dragon Flame Ancient Land. The fire-attributed spiritual energy should be exceptionally dense. Be more careful. Everyone, follow closely. No one is to move alone. Senior Ma shouted loudly. Then he led the crowd and began to carefully explore the city. However, Senior Ma and the others clearly underestimated the danger of this dragon city. Before the group got far, several pairs of scarlet eyes opened in a dilapidated building in front. They looked like drifting scarlet flames, exuding a seductive charm. Whoosh! 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 Fiery lights flickered in the dark dragon city. 10 odd red flame demons quickly pounced over. Miserable cries rang out. Caught off guard, 3 members were immediately burned to a crisp. Blood flowed out and seeped into the ground. Their deaths were exceptionally miserable. Be careful. They are superior grade flame demons. Senior Ma exclaimed. Unexpectedly, they would run into so many superior grade flame demons here. A huge battle instantly started. The combat prowess of superior grade flame demons was exceptionally terrifying. Furthermore, their vision was not affected in the darkness. Their movement techniques were strange. They could easily turn into flames and merge into the ground. Then, they would wait for an opportunity to appear, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Fortunately, the team that Senior Ma led was made up of elite outstanding talents. It was not like they had not fought with superior grade flame demons before when they came out for experiential training. After the initial panic, the team quickly calmed down. Xiao Chen took the opportunity to observe Xiahou Feng and Lung Feng's strength. These two truly lived up to being as strong as Star Venerates. Despite facing several superior grade flame demons at the same time, they held the upper hand and could still help the others. These two have already condensed the will of soul. After observing for a while, Xiao Chen finally discovered some clues. No wonder they were so strong, comparable to Star Venerates. The will of soul was the greatest reliance of the Cloud Sea realm. They had already condensed it. However, their cultivation was still lacking, so they were not in a rush to make a breakthrough. These people were also ambitious people. They knew that only by laying down a good foundation and making a breakthrough when the conditions were right could they go further in the Cloud Sea realm. Xiao Chen did not find it strange that these people could condense the will of soul before reaching the Cloud Sea realm. The world was vast. There were all sorts of strange things. The Great Thousand Realms were far vaster than what he saw. Just like how Xiaochun could cultivate the dragon blood soul-breaking finger, others might have cultivated soul energy cultivation techniques as well. Furthermore, these two's cultivations were infinitely close to Star Venerate's in the first place. As for soul energy, they could already touch the surface of it. After a while, after leaving behind a few flame demon corpses, the other flame demons started retreating quickly. They did not continue fighting. Don't chase a cornered enemy. Senior Ma reminded a team elite that had chased too deeply. Who knew? Right after that Major Primal Core elite spoke, a palm strike knocked that Major Primal Core elite cultivator back. A black palm print appeared on that elite cultivator's chest, and a black flame burned in the wound. That flame was illusory and beautiful, not solid. After that, this elite cultivator's lips turned black, and his life force drained continuously. Flame poison. This startled the others. They had never seen such a terrifying flame poison before. Senior Ma looked up and saw a flame demon covered in black flames walk out of the shadows, leading hundreds of red flame demons. This flame demon had a fanatical look in its eyes as it looked at Senior Ma's group, brimming with murderous intent. Black flame demon. Senior Ma's expression changed slightly. He had never seen or heard of this before. Leave half of the people behind. The rest can return the way they came. The black flame demon suddenly spoke, negotiating conditions with Senior Ma and the others. Lung Feng laughed hoarsely. You are just a mere flame demon, and you dare to speak such nonsense? Coincidentally, I have never obtained a black flame crystal before. I wonder how much it is worth. Kill. The black flame demon smiled coldly, and hundreds of high-ranked flame demons charged forward, charging at Senior Ma's team. Senior Ma also smiled coldly and said, Everyone work together and kill this group of flame demons. Although the flame demons held the advantage in numbers, Senior Ma's team was not a temporary team. The core team members had experienced many life and death situations together, and had great teamwork. When they worked together, their strength was not as simple as 1+1. Earlier, during the dragon flame eruption, Xiaochun had seen the might of a team's teamwork. Although a new team member like Xiaochun was not familiar with the old team, it would be fine as long as he did not cause trouble. Furthermore, the team was made up of sect elites who grasped many secret techniques and protective treasure tools, even Dao tools. Once the team's true strength burst forth, it would be exceptionally terrifying. Xiaochun drew the tyrant saber, and used the army-breaking saber technique to face the enemy, not fearing these high-ranked flame demons surrounding him. The situation quickly stabilized. Senior Ma's team slowly gained the upper hand. Xiaochun swept his gaze around and freed up his hands to work with Lung Feng and Xiahou Feng, preparing to kill this black flame demon. The three worked together to fight the black flame demon. Although the black flame demon was horrifying, it could not withstand the repeated attacks of 3-star Venerate level existences. After a while, it started showing signs of defeat. Seeing that it could not defeat the black flame demon, it roared ferociously and turned into a clump of black clouds, fleeing. However, none of Senior Ma's group of 3 gave chase. Lung Feng said with some lingering fear in his heart. This black flame demon is really terrifying. It is clearly not a star Venerate, but it is even stronger than a regular star Venerate. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's deal with the other flame demons first. Right. 1 hour later, the battle ended. Most of the flame demons that came were dead. As for Senior Ma's team, close to 20 people died, a disastrous loss. In one go they lost 1/5 of their team. The flame demon tribe definitely has a strong young attributed flame where they gather. Based on the strength of this flame demon tribe, the place where they gather is definitely a primal chaos level flame. Earlier, I found some resources left behind by the original owner of a courtyard. Most of them were already abandoned, but I unexpectedly found 1 or 2 perfectly preserved small things. This is a dragon city, after all. There are still many important places that we did not go to. After collecting the blaze crystals in the red flame demon's body, Senior Ma discussed with the others and decided to continue forward. Those who felt that they were not strong enough could take some of the red blaze crystals and return the way they came. This trip was dangerous, but no one backed out. All of them chose to continue deeper. Just at this moment, the sounds of intense fighting rang out. It was a saber hum. Xiaochen raised his eyebrows. As a bladesman, his senses were much sharper than others. A strong bladesman was currently fighting with someone. The expressions of Senior Ma and the others immediately turned grave. To think that someone else managed to enter this place before them. A miserable shriek rang out. The black flame demon that had retreated earlier got ruthlessly hacked back by a saber. The black flame demon landed before everyone again. A saber struck the chest of the black flame demon, nearly chopping it in half at the waist. Saber chi lingered. No matter how hard the black flame demon tried, the wound could not heal. The black flame demon roared furiously, but it could not get up. How strong? Who is it? Everyone looked up and saw a mysterious bladesman wearing tight clothes and a conical bamboo hat flying over in the air. The bamboo hat bladesman swept his gaze across Senior Ma's team before gently landing. After dealing the final blow to the black flame demon, he looked at Senior Ma and the others and said, "I'll take this blaze crystal. You don't have any objections, right?" This bladesman's voice was specially altered, but everyone could still tell that the owner of the voice was very young. This was a young star venerate level bladesman. How could Senior Ma and the others dare to say anything? Although the three injured this black flame demon and weakened it, this bamboo hat bladesman was still able to kill it alone. To be able to kill so tyrannically with the strength of a single person was enough to show how terrifying his strength was. With such strength, who would dare to offend him? Chapter 1736. As Senior Ma and the others watched the bamboo hat bladesman take away the precious black flame crystal, they did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. "Might I ask for your great name, and which sect of the Central Great Realm you come from?" Senior Ma and Lung Feng exchanged glances. Then they stepped forward, wanting to strike up a conversation. If necessary, it would be for the best if they could form an alliance. Even if the alliance failed, they could at least maintain a friendship and avoid conflict in the future. The bamboo hat bladesman mocked indifferently. "The Central Great Realm? I have not been there yet. I am just a loose cultivator. Just call me Ananda." As the bamboo hat bladesman spoke, he swept his gaze over Senior Ma's team again. He now had a clearer understanding of the strength of this team. When the bamboo hat bladesman's gaze landed on Xiaochen, a strange expression flashed in his eyes, which were hidden under the bamboo hat. However, it passed in an instant. Others would not notice anything at all. A loose cultivator? Lung Feng and Xiahou Feng were both shocked. Since when did loose cultivators have such heaven-defying characters? However, given how vast the world was, it was hard to avoid some people getting lucky. Lung Feng continued and invited, "Brother Ananda, you are alone. How about you join our team?" The bamboo hat bladesman smiled faintly and said, "There's no need." After leaving behind these two simple words, the bamboo hat bladesman drifted away. The bamboo hat bladesman did not intend to form an alliance with Senior Ma and the others. Or rather, he did not care about them at all. After that bamboo hat bladesman went far away, all sorts of discussions rang out. What a young star venerate! His saber techniques are really startling. Indeed. That black flame demon was chopped in half by one saber strike. The saber chi lingered around. Although he did not comprehend the complete saber Dao, he is not far from it. I wonder where this expert came from. Xiaochen remained silent as he looked in the direction that bamboo hat bladesman left, entering deep thought. The bamboo hat bladesman's entire body was covered up. No one could see anything wrong with him. However, for some reason, Xiaochen found this person somewhat familiar. He must have seen this person before. However, in Xiaochen's memory, he did not recall any bladesman with such strength. Senior brother Yi Zifeng definitely has one. However, senior brother Yi Zifeng is much more brilliant than that. He is a holy venerate. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Xiaochen also began to doubt his own intuition because his memory had always been very good. There was no mistake. If he couldn't recall it, then it could only be that his intuition was wrong. After a long time, Old Ma said, "Everyone be careful. It looks like we are not the only ones who have discovered this dragon city." Who knows, there might be other people. If we run into a disciple from a 5th grade sect. When Senior Ma and the others saw the bamboo hat bladesman, their hearts sank. This place no longer belonged to them alone. With the appearance of the bamboo hat bladesman, there would definitely be others. Xiao Chen's hopes of monopolizing the fortuitous encounters of the Dragon City would be dashed. If he was unlucky and encountered a disciple of a 5th grade sect, he would definitely be killed. Not only would they not be able to obtain the fortuitous encounter, but they would also have no choice but to flee in all directions and leave their fates to fate. Continuing forward, Senior Ma's team annihilated another flame demon team. They explored the courtyards and ancient buildings, obtaining many benefits. Some were weapons from the ancient times, some were cultivation resources left behind from the ancient times, and so on. To be able to go through such a long period of time, wash away all of his glory, and reveal his sharpness once more. Needless to say, it was definitely something good. Half a day later. Rumble. A series of loud sounds came from ahead, along with dense flames and the shouts of cultivators. There really is someone. There are quite a lot of people. Elder Ma's expression immediately turned grave. Xiao Chen did not fear meeting a lone expert like the bamboo hat bladesman. He feared meeting a team like theirs. Let's go and take a look. No matter what, it was necessary to understand the other party's background. Even before Zhang Xian got close, he could already feel surging heat waves surging toward him. Ahead, a team with about the same number of people as Senior Ma's team was fighting with a team of flame demons. The flame demons here were even stronger, all of them major primal core cultivators. There were even black flame demons that reached the star venerate level, looking incredibly terrifying. Although the opponent's team had great teamwork. However, the attacks of the star venerate level black flame demon severely tore apart their formation. Several people died on the spot. Fresh blood seeped out and formed a river. It was a tragic sight. It's Elder Lu's team, Lung Feng said when he clearly saw the person leading the team. Senior Ma and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was not a rank 5 sect disciple. Like Senior Ma's team, Senior Lu's team was famous in Dragon Flame City's northern district. However, it was weaker. While the relationship between the two teams was not very good, it was not bad, either. So Senior Ma is here. We are all fellow cultivators of Dragon Flame City. Please help us out. Senior Lu's team was clearly at a disadvantage, suffering unspeakably. Senior Ma said, "Let's go over and help." Right now, the Dragon City's environment was becoming increasingly complicated. Senior Ma did not think too much before making up his mind. Being able to get a helper would definitely be beneficial for the rest of the journey. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With Senior Ma's command, the people of Senior Ma's team immediately flew over to fight the flame demons. Instantly, the pressure on Senior Lu's team decreased significantly. Xiao Chen held the tyrant saber and moved about fearlessly. His army-breaking saber technique became increasingly familiar with it. He slowly showed signs of reaching peak consummation. When he executed it, he moved about fearlessly, appearing extremely tyrannical. The formless might of a tyrant shocked the surroundings, inspiring fear in everyone. What a handsome saber technique. One man and one saber amid a vast army, moving about fearlessly. Wherever the saber points, it breaks everything. How tyrannical. Several people on both sides marveled at Xiao Chen's saber technique when they saw it. Xiao Chen's movement technique was excellent. The fish dragon art allowed him to move about freely in this chaotic battle. Although Xiao Chen killed the enemy ferociously, he did not put himself in danger. However, the truly strong enemy, the star venerate level black flame demon, was still dealt with by Senior Ma, Senior Lu, Lung Feng, and the others working together. After a while, both sides worked together and finally chased away this group of flame demons. The star venerate level flame demon found it hard to fight against so many. It was significantly injured, turned into a clump of flames, and fled in a sorry state. Xiao Chen glanced indifferently at the black flame demon, paying attention to the ground where it fled. That Senior Lu came over and expressed his gratitude to Senior Ma. Then he generously offered to give all the flame crystals in the flame demon's corpse to Senior Ma's team. Senior Ma smiled casually, not being polite. Following that, the upper echelons of both sides started to discuss the alliance. Xiaochen lost interest. He looked at the ground and entered deep thought. The ground, which had been covered in blood earlier, no longer had many bloodstains left. He found this very strange. Xiaochen lowered his head and looked at the ground, entering deep thought. Senior Lu, how long has it been since you entered this dragon city? About a day, I guess. This dragon city is very strange. However, everyone feels that there are benefits to be gained, so we persevered. We want to charge into the Flame Demon headquarters and see what the situation is like. The two teams entered at about the same time. Soon, the two teams formed the mysterious phenomenon of an alliance and prepared to attack the Flame Demon headquarters together. Xiaochen, who was squatting on the ground, thought of something when he heard the conversation between Senior Ma and Senior Lu. Something is strange. I have to make some plans in advance. Xiaochen's figure flashed, and he silently vanished from where he was. Then he chased after the Star Venerate level flame demon that Senior Ma and Senior Lu worked together to injure. After a while, Xiaochen stopped on a wall and calmly stared at the ground below. Huchi. Suddenly, a clump of fire appeared on the ground. That injured Star Venerate level flame demon coughed a few times, appearing very weak. Resolving the mundane, Xiaochen did not hesitate to use his strongest killing move, the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber techniques, resolving the mundane. Since ancient times, the sages and sages were all passers-by. Thousands of years of worldly affairs were all for naught. Let go of the mundane world's worries, see the Buddha in one day, and obtain eternity. Xiaochen's heart was like dead water. At this moment, he had separated himself from the secular world. His 7 emotions and 6 desires no longer existed. Xiaochen remained expressionless as he swung his saber. A swastika appeared on his forehead, and a Buddhist light shone. However, it was a motionless and eternal, inextinguishable saber light. Once one's mortal heart was settled, it would be eternal. The heavily injured flame devil only had time to raise its head and reveal a hint of shock before it was struck by that terrifying saber. He was cleaved into 2 halves and died on the spot. Clang. His body was illuminated by the Buddhist light, and only a strange black flame crystal fell to the ground. Xiaochen sheathed his saber and grabbed it. After killing the enemy with 1 slash, Xiaochen did not stop moving and took out his carving knife. Then he quickly started carving on the black flame crystal. His expression was focused, and his heart was as calm as still water. After a while, Xiaochen perfectly carved the black flame crystal into the shape of a black flame devil. Then, Xiaochen spat out a mouthful of essence blood for the black flame crystal to absorb. Then he crushed the many red flame crystals in his hand. Xiaochen continuously refined them, extracting their essence and infusing them into the black flame crystal sculpture. It was like he was infusing blood into it, making it livelier. All of this happened last night. Xiaochen put away the exquisite sculpture in his hand and returned, rejoining the team. The two teams were currently regrouping. Several cultivators were searching the courtyards in the Dragon City. Xiaochen's movements did not cause any commotion. Who could have imagined that he would kill a Star Venerate level flame devil with 1 saber strike? Chapter 1737. Brother Xiao, where did you go earlier? Meng Zhuang, who was on friendly terms with Xiaochen, asked, finding it strange. Xiaochen replied calmly, What's wrong? I just discovered an injured flame demon and chased after it to finish it off. Understanding dawned on Meng Zhuang. No wonder I could not find you. Senior Ma and Senior Lu agreed to form an alliance. We will share all the resources and treasures in the surrounding area. Whoever finds them first will get to keep them. Xiaochen smiled and said, Isn't that just nice? There are rules and regulations. Meng Zhuang smiled helplessly and said, It would be great if that was really the case. Even people on a team would get into conflicts. What more 2 teams? At that time, when there is a conflict, the only reliable thing is not the rules but one's own strength. So, Xiaochen roughly understood why Meng Zhuang sought him out. Meng Zhuang smiled and said, I found a few people to explore together. Do you want to join us? Xiaochen rejected politely. Thank you. However, I'm used to being alone. In that case, I won't disturb you anymore. In reality, Xiaochen had gained a lot from his earlier search. Xiaochen possessed the blue dragon bloodline. In this underground dragon city, he was more sensitive to auras than the other cultivators. It was like returning to his own home. He could always be one step ahead of others and arrive at the location of the treasures. It was easy to expose some of one's secrets when traveling with others. Some things were also troublesome to explain. Xiaochen could only reject Meng Zhuang's kind intentions. After searching for a quiet place, Xiaochen closed his eyes and let his aura spread out in all directions. His aura seemed to merge with the aura spreading out in the ancient dragon city. His probing in all directions was much more precise and meticulous than the others, including Senior Ma. Soon, Xiaochen found a rough location. Then he opened his eyes and pushed off with his feet. His figure drifted up. Soon, a courtyard appeared in Xiaochen's vision. The courtyard was grand and imposing. It should have been the residence of a large clan of the dragon race during the ancient era. After entering, Xiaochen followed the guidance of an aura and arrived at the back of the courtyard, where a pavilion stood. Treasure Tower? Looking at the few incomplete words on the broken signboard, Xiaochen revealed a look of joy. The blue dragon bloodline must have been divided into several large families during its most glorious period. Perhaps this house belonged to one of the great clans. The treasure tower was the foundation of a clan. When the doors were pushed open, all sorts of treasures, flowers, and plants gave off multicolored lights. Surging in pure spiritual energy spread out together with the strong dragon might of the dragon race treasures, instantly attracting the attention of many nearby people. Oh no! Too much time had passed, and the formation that could protect the pavilion from leaking aura had already lost its effectiveness. However, Xiaochen could not care so much. He looked around, searching for the most useful treasures. Dragon Blood Dan. Xiaochen soon discovered that the words Dragon Blood Pill were written under a jade bottle. Breaking the seal, Zhang Xian picked up the jade slip and took a look. There were 4 blood-red pills inside, and they emanated a medicinal fragrance. Zhang Xian took a deep breath. Xiaochen immediately felt the blood in his body surge as energy surged out from his bloodline and spread throughout his body. So, it's a pill that can awaken the power of one's bloodline. Good stuff. Xiaochen quickly accepted it and continued to observe as fast as he could. Dragon Taming Wood, Ice Crystal Jade, Golden Ink Stone. This is the Dragon Bone Wine. The sharp-eyed Xiaochen discovered a bottle of wine, and his eyes lit up. Although he did not know what it was as a wine lover, he quickly went over and broke the seal on the Dragon Bone Wine. If not for the restrictions on everything in this place, Xiaochen would not have bothered with so many things. He simply swept through the items and took them away. There was no time to think too much. After taking away the treasures that were useful to him, Xiaochen continued to break the seal, taking away the more valuable treasures. His movements were swift and orderly, showing no signs of panic. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 figures arrived in a flash. They were the first batch of cultivators who had sensed the aura of the treasures. However, at this moment, the treasures that were useful to them, or the more valuable natural treasures, had already been taken away by Xiaochen. Xiaochen had already taken all of them. Although the remaining ones were still very valuable, they could not compare to the one in Xiaochen's hand. How can it be like this? The aura of the treasures has decreased by more than half. The good things are all gone. Compared to the surging and pure spiritual energy that the 3 sensed at the start, the aura of the treasures was far from it. The 3 could not help but look at Xiaochen. Xiaochen glanced at the 3. They were not from his team, so he walked over expressionlessly. You. Stop right there. The person in the middle shouted coldly as he held a sword in his hand, wearing blue robes. Xiaochen ignored him and continued forward. The blue-clad man immediately showed rage on his face. He thrust his sword at Xiaochen. Whoosh! Xiaochen drew the tyrant saber. Before the blue-clad man could fully unleash his sword light, Xiaochen knocked him back with his saber. Brother Jiang. The blue-clad man's companions were greatly startled. They quickly retreated to help the blue-clad man up and check on his injuries. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just at this moment, Senior Lu and Senior Ma led the elites of their teams over. They had also sensed the surging and pure spiritual energy. However, they were rather far away, so they arrived slightly later. What's going on? Senior Lu quickly asked when he saw someone on his team injured. Senior Lu, he used the Dao tool in his hand to forcefully chase us away from the treasure pavilion and take away the valuable treasures inside. The three of us clearly came here first. The blue-clad man looked at Xiao Chun and made a false accusation, placing all the blame on him. He even sneak-attacked Brother Jiang, completely ignoring the team's morality. In any case, no one saw it. The more the two spoke, the more outrageous they became. They described Xiao Chun as a shameless person who did not hesitate to sneak-attack others in order to obtain the valuable treasures. Senior Ma frowned slightly. Xiao Chun, what's going on? Xiao Chun replied indifferently, I discovered this place first. Senior Ma sent a voice projection. Xiao Chun, who discovered it is not the key. The key is whether it is true that you obtain the valuable treasures. Xiao Chun felt slightly stunned. However, he quickly understood what Senior Ma meant. Senior Ma wanted a share of the loot and some benefits. Old fogey. Xiao Chun replied coldly. If Senior Ma thinks it is true, then it is true. Senior Ma, there needs to be an explanation for this matter. Senior Lu showed a sullen expression as he led his team over to Xiao Chun's group. Senior Ma felt upset. He had given Xiao Chun a hint, but Xiao Chun did not seem to care. At this moment, Senior Lu stepped forward to question Xiao Chun. Senior Ma retorted indifferently. What explanation do you want? You forgot who saved you so quickly? Furthermore, there is no proof. If I did what Xiao Chun said, why would I ask you for an explanation? While Senior Ma was unhappy, for the sake of maintaining the harmony of the team, he had to stand up for Xiao Chun at this moment. His words immediately caused the atmosphere to become a little tense. Senior Lu knew that his words had no basis, and that he could not stand on his own 2 feet. Furthermore, the other party had saved him earlier. For a moment he was in a dilemma, not knowing how to resolve the situation. Lung Feng tried to mediate. Since we have come to an agreement, why don't we each take a step back? We don't want the remaining treasures in the treasure pavilion. With a way out, Elder Lu nodded and said, that's fine too. After Elder Lu and the others entered the treasure pavilion, Elder Ma, Lung Feng, and the others all focused their gazes on Xiao Chun. The meaning was self-evident. We helped you solve your problem, so you should take out some treasures to thank us. Xiao Chun pretended not to know, nodded casually, and left. This guy really doesn't know how to be tactful. One of them looked at Xiao Chun's back and said coldly. Lung Feng shook his head and said, forget it. According to the rules, he indeed has no obligation to hand over the treasure. Senior Ma snorted coldly. Then he flung his sleeves and left with a sullen expression. How could Xiao Chun not know what these people were thinking? Not to mention the limited number of treasures he could obtain. If he gave each of them a treasure, his pockets would be empty. Even if Xiao Chun really swept through the entire treasure pavilion, he would not take out a single cent to give to these people. Firstly, Xiao Chun did not need the help of Senior Ma and the others to deal with the problem. Secondly, Senior Ma's attitude was simply displeasing. Back then, Senior Ma scammed Xiao Chun of 1 million medial grade spirit jades for the pureblood dragon bones. Xiao Chun had long seen through Senior Ma's character. However, he could not do it twice. How could Xiao Chun let Senior Ma scam him again? Chapter 1738. For now, Xiao Chun did not take inventory of his gains. After the decibels of Senior Ma and the others, he sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes, letting his aura merge with the aura of the Dragon City once more. Xiao Chun's perception was like a spider web, quickly spreading out into the Dragon City. The limit kept expanding, even wider than when he used his spiritual sense outside. However, Xiao Chun could not see as clearly as with his spiritual sense. He could not see the scene in real time, only vaguely sensing some unique auras. That's it. Soon, Xiaochen sensed an unusual aura. He did not know if it was a natural treasure or a dragon race treasure. Xiaochen opened his eyes in anticipation, and his figure flashed over. Sounds of fighting? Just as Xiaochen approached, he heard the sounds of fighting and could not help frowning. Since someone had beaten him to it, he could not help but speed up and rush over. Xiaochen happened to see a shocking scene. In front of a cellar, someone knocked Meng Zhuang and the other elite cultivators of Senior Ma's team into the air with one saber strike. They fell to the ground in pain and screamed miserably. What happened? Xiaochen asked after he landed and helped Meng Zhuang and the others to their feet. After all, Meng Zhuang was someone he was familiar with. Xiaochen could not possibly feign ignorance after seeing him. There was a horrifying wound on Meng Zhuang's chest. Blood spurted out of the wound uncontrollably. Xiaochen looked carefully and discovered a strong saber intent containing the will of soul in the wound. Brother Xiao, we clearly discovered the corpse of an ancient mutated beast. However, he snatched it away and even injured us. Meng Zhuang's eyes flashed with horror as he pointed at the person in front while clutching his wound. Xiaochen glanced around. The person in front was the bamboo hat bladesman, who called himself Ananda. This bladesman wore a conical bamboo hat that covered his face. He wore tight clothes and long robes, making it impossible to make out his figure. There is no need to be so heavy-handed when you make a move, right? Xiaochen asked softly. He is just asking for it. You can't blame others. The conical bamboo hat bladesman's voice, which had clearly been altered, rang out. He looked deeply at Xiaochen through the conical bamboo hat before drifting away. Xiaochen did not give chase. There was no need to fight to the death with this bamboo hat bladesman. After all, the opponent's strength was there for all to see. Let me send you back, Xiaochen said as he turned around. Naturally, Meng Zhuang and the others had no complaints. After seeing the strength of this bamboo hat bladesman, they would not blame Xiaochen for not making a move. It was already good enough that he could waste his time and send them back. Returning to the team's gathering point, there were quite a number of injured people. He only found out after asking around. His body was sucked dry by the formation, turning into a pool of blood and disappearing. As their souls were extracted and their bodies absorbed by the array formation, the black flames on the blue dragon totem seemed to become even more lustrous. The corpses and souls of these people were treated as delicacies, and he swallowed them whole. So. The group of people immediately felt a deep lingering fear, and hurriedly sped up, retreating all the way. Only after he left the square did he feel slightly at ease. How could this be? Senior Ma, Senior Lu, and the others turned pale with fright. Their expressions turned grave, but their gazes did not leave the black flames. Xiaochen found this strange as well. He had not expected to run into the legendary foe god flame here. After the Cloud Sea realm was the Divine Vein realm. After the Divine Vein realm was the Void God realm. The physical body of a foe god had already become a physical body. All they lacked was an immortal soul to become a true god. Their lifespan was practically limitless. Their strength had already reached an incredible, heaven-defying level. Words alone could no longer describe the horror of a foe god. Just the Divine Vein realm was already out of reach for the people here. They needed to raise their heads and look up. Foe gods were even more so. The so-called foe god flame was a special existence. If one wanted to advance from the Divine Vein realm to the foe god realm, one had to light a divine flame in their body. This flame was the foe god flame. These people did not know how to light a divine flame. However, the importance of the foe god flame was like that of a nascent soul to a true cultivator. If the nascent soul was extinguished, the true cultivator would die for sure. If the divine flame was extinguished, the so-called undying foe gods would disappear from this world. I really did not expect there to be a young flame where the flame demon tribes gathered. Who could have expected it to be the legendary foe god flame? This is incredible. However, this foe god flame is almost extinguished. It can't even send out its divine might. There is something wrong with this foe god flame. It seems to have a demonic nature. I suspect that those flame devil tribes are actually all under its control. Senior Ma and the others discussed cautiously. As they looked at the foe god flame, Greed flashed in their eyes. Everyone wanted to obtain the faux god flame. However, they did not dare to act rashly, afraid of losing their lives. Xiaochen squatted down and reached out to touch the floor of the plaza. His expression turned grave. Indeed, as Xiaochen expected, there was something wrong with this place. There was an even larger formation under the plaza. The blood of the people who died in the city earlier eventually flowed to the mysterious formation in the center of the plaza. Xiaochen stood up and asked Senior Lu, "How did you discover the underground dragon city?" Senior Lu did not like Xiaochen. He retorted coldly, "What does it have to do with you? The upper echelons are discussing. It is not your place to interrupt." Xiaochen smiled faintly. "Even if you don't tell me, I know. Did you discover azure-colored dragon chi on the surface? Did you send people to search and find the entrance?" Senior Lu's expression changed slightly, clearly finding this strange. Xiaochen was clearly asking how Xiaochen knew. "Xiaochen, Senior Lu and I still have important matters to discuss. Rest at the side first and await further instructions." Senior Ma frowned slightly. He was not willing to see Xiaochen, so he waved his hand and sent Xiaochen away. Xiaochen did not say anything. He smiled coldly in his heart and moved to the side. "How dare you barge into the Holy Land? All of you deserve death." Just at this moment, a majestic figure descended from the sky and landed heavily on the plaza. This figure had pitch-black skin and wore ancient black armor with dragon motifs. He held a spear in his hand and radiated a terrifying dragon might. The spear swept through the air, and the entire plaza suddenly lit up with a loud boom. Clumps of flames soared up from the countless stone pillars in the Dragon Race Plaza spanning 50 kilometers. Each clump of flame was a red flame demon. This seemingly empty plaza was, in fact, the lair of the flame demon tribes. The expressions of Senior Ma and the others immediately changed. The number of flame demons exceeded their expectations. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.